Graham, Abo Henry.
That's the one.
How are you, mate?
Good, mate.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
Been a bit of a hard one to get scheduled. I've been kind of all over the map, so I appreciate you bloody sticking in there with me,
No
mate.
worries, mate.
So I guess I'm probably going to give people a little bit of an intro before they hook into the podcast.
Yep.
But how are we going to do this? We're just going to go deep into your story. We've got some time.
Yeah, I don't care, mate.
So
I can't harm anyone. They're all dead.
No, that's it. So you're, I guess, a notorious Australian, would you say like underworld figure or?
Yeah, I guess that's what my reputation is, As some people say, oh, you're famous. I say, no, mate, I'm infamous.
Yeah, right.
So, that's what it is. I mean, I just was always born, I think, to do what I did in life. That's what I fucking believe. And I just, I knew I was going to head down that road as a young bloke, and so I just followed the path that led me.
Yeah, so we sort of like, as I was setting up, we started talking about that kind of stuff to where you almost believe that it was kind of just like almost determined that with the upbringing that you had, the place that you lived, the people you were around, that this was kind of just the path that you were sort of destined to go down.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I there's an old Celtic belief that, your spirit knows before it comes here on what journey it's going to take, And I've always sort of been pretty spiritual like that because my mother was exactly the same. She was pretty psychic, and so was my youngest daughter. But no one else in the family has it, and we often have things happen to us, see things or hear things, but I always knew in my own head that I used to think to myself when I was a young bloke, my life was a movie. I don't know why I got hooked on it, mate. Sometimes I look back and I think, well, maybe it was The Untouchables I used to watch every night with me mother when I was a young bloke, as a kid, and I had pin-ups on my wall of John Dillinger, so I didn't have Sheilas hanging up on my wall, or I had a picture of a gangster or something. My mother was always ripping them down and trying to hide them, and I put them up there, But I learnt something pretty good off John Dillinger. I always remember that when he got killed because he was talking to a woman, and the woman set him up. So I always made it my option never to ever make sure I do business with women. So, not that I'm racist or anything, or
sexist.
Sexist is the word.
We live in a weird time when it comes to that kind of shit. Equal rights. It's pretty funny, but there's not that many women that are lining up to be gangsters.
No, but there's plenty that want to hang around with them, and that's the type of ones that I try to avoid,
Gangster groupies.
My partner in crime, who was Ned Smith, the infamous underworld gangster, probably one of Australia's most notorious. He loved the women around him, and he liked to throw out all the money. I mean, we can't say that we didn't like him hanging around, I guess, but at the end of the day, they'd try and suck your brain about something, and I just, they'd ask me to walk them to their car, and I'd just bluntly refuse them, because I'd think it was a trap. So that's how I learned things,
You got to think like with the chick that they're kind of getting seduced by the whole glory of the lifestyle in the same way, but they're not actual gangsters. So you got to think how easy it would be for a cop to flip a chick because they want the accessory of the the kind of good shit that comes with that and the kind of danger factor and the dangerous man type thing.
Yeah.
But they're not going to fucking not rat you out if it gets, because they're probably working at the bloody shops down the road for nothing, and they're not actually living that life.
No, that's right, exactly right. They're just hanging around for the glory of it all. Really, I mean, that's what it boils down to.
So let's talk a bit about, we'll give some background on your start, because so I come across you through my mate Scott Saul, who knows your grandson through footy and
football, that's right.
Then he put me onto the Vice piece, which everybody should check out.
Yeah.
And it was kind of you talking, I guess that Vice piece was centered around violence.
Yeah, that was, It's called Violent Times.
Yeah, so it highlighted a little bit of your story, which was pretty shocking for me to hear about the violence in your house and then what happened with your family. So I guess is that incident with your dad, is that the first kind of taste, or not taste is probably the first exposure to real violence was like that family,
your
family environment.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. My father used to, flog my mother who had one leg cut off way above her knee. She lost it when she was 10. He used to flog her like a prize fighter, and he'd just bash it mercifully. And I can always remember the cops turning up in the old days, and I'm talking about when I was 5 or 6 years of age, and the coppers would come to the door and say, mate, look, just keep it down, They didn't give a fuck how she looked. You know what I mean? They might pull them aside and have a little bit of a word to them, but they didn't give a fuck about what went on in the house in those days. And, men were so many of them bashed their wives badly, I mean, I've been married 44 years, never laid a hand on mine, and that was because of what I seen, But, it made me extremely angry, and by the time I got to about 13 years of age, I started to fist fight him, He kept beating me, of course, but so I ended up going over to the Police Boys Club in North Sydney. And when I got there, I remember the trainer there he was a fireman. His normal day job as a fireman, but he was a trainer, and he just said, I see you hitting the bag there, mate. You look pretty angry, And I said, I just want to learn to fight. And he said, what for, to do it as a profession? I said, no, I just want to learn so I can flog me father. He said, you're fucking kidding me, mate, aren't you? I said, no, I'm not, mate. So he started to ask me a few questions, a bit like a psychiatrist too. He helped me, what I mean? Because he just said, don't worry about it, but if he does it again, you call me and I'll fucking come over.
Yeah, right.
So I knew I had someone hold me back, which was nice, but I never used him. But, but I punched on with my father at the front of the house all the time, and we had a real big steep driveway up the front of the house. So I used to try and get up on the high side so I could, hit him and get him down on the height over him, But, during the day he was as quiet as a mouse, wouldn't speak, and then he'd get up the pub. But what happened to him, he was injured during the Second World War. When the Germans were after him, they couldn't use their lights of a night. He was a driver of one of the trucks, and they went over a big embankment and in the sand dunes and come to a crash and halt, and all the team left him there for about 3 or 4 days on his own because they couldn't move him. Anyway, he ended up coming back and had bent all his backbone pretty badly, and so they hooked him onto the morphine, I think, first off, and then when he come home from the war, they put him on a tablet called Phenobarb. Phenobarb were barred off the market in the 70s because of their hallucinogenic factors to him, like acid. And I can often remember him saying stupid things like,
Was he mixing it with alcohol as well?
Yeah, of course. And that's what turned him into a fucking maniac,
Yeah,
and the next day you'd say something to him and he wouldn't believe it. He wouldn't believe that it was him.
Because there's been a bunch of shit come out about like Ambien and stuff lately because, Roseanne, the TV show?
Oh, yeah, Roseanne.
It was on the air again. They re-aired it, and then she wrote some shit that was, I guess, people took as like a racist thing.
That's
and
right.
she got sacked from the show, and she said, I was fucking on Ambien and I was drunk, and people don't remember what they did. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah, right. So I guess, you didn't really get to fully explain that in the Vice piece, I guess.
No, I didn't, no.
Yeah.
I did in the book that I wrote. I wrote a book in, I started in 2000. I don't think it was released until 2006. It was called Abo, A Treacherous Life.
Yeah.
And that's still online there. You can get that online.
Yeah, I'm going to post a link in the like when we do the show notes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that people can actually get it.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I got the book when Sawley got this going, but I just haven't had a chance to read it.
No, that's right.
Keen as to get stuck into it. So so you seeing your dad, did you have much perspective as a kid that there was, like what you've just said now, like he was in the war, then he come back and he was on these drugs and then mixing it with alcohol. Yeah. Did you have that perspective as a kid?
Oh, no way in the world.
So it was
I
just
didn't
that.
know, and I didn't fucking care what he had,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't until I got older, as I got older, I can look back and relate to, what he was like. And, I mean, I've been on the piss myself and done stupid fucking things, you know what I mean? But one of them's not flogging women, I'm barred from fucking doing that. But that was just the way it was, and I've had some ridiculous things, that have happened to me. A lot of my fights that I had, and you couldn't help it. It's not as if you did it because you were fucking, it's just the way you're out somewhere and you're with a big group, and there's always some fucking imbecile, that says something stupid or and then it's on. I mean, we didn't care if they were coppers, fucking security, fucking whoever they were, we'd just flog them.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I was running around with Ned Smith and that.
And especially, I guess, if your life revolved around violence, like you grew up in a violent place.
Yeah.
And do you think that you were just conditioned to respond with violence? Because it's not like you could have said, fuck Dad, please don't do that, and have a rational conversation like...
No, it would never have happened.
Yeah, so I mean, do you think that when you look back now, that those reactions and the fights and stuff, was that just purely based out of being a product of that environment?
Oh, for sure and certain, mate, you know. And I can remember the relief when it finally came to me when I was about... See, he tried to kill me when I was about 15, and I told him to go to bed and jammed the mouth organ up his arse. He'd been playing all night because my mother had to get up to go to work in the morning, and he'd already retired. And anyway, I told him to jam it up his arse, and I seen him sneak outside, you know. And then I used to have a steel slide that used to slide down the guitar, make the whine sounds.
Yeah, yeah.
My mother had it, and it was her guitar and her instrument, but I used to grab that little piece of instrument and put it up on the doorknob, and then put this tray down that I won in a boxing amateur tournament.
Yeah.
Put it on the floor, so when the doorknob was hit, the thing would come down and hit the door, and I'd be awake, you know.
Yeah.
And it'd usually wake me because I was a pretty light sleeper anyway. And anyway, next minute, bang, the thing went on the floor, and I sat up, and next minute I seen him just swinging, you know, come at me, and I thought, fuck, I jumped out of the bed. Well, lucky I did. I didn't even know what happened. I jumped out the fucking window because something just made me go, you know.
Yeah.
When I came back in the morning to the house, there was a garden mattock embedded straight in me bed. It would have got me chest. Would have just gone straight through me and killed me. Now, he still didn't fucking remember that. I took him in the room and showed him next morning. He said,
Whoa.
I never fucking did it. I thought, fuck, mate, like, how can you be fucking not remember that, you fucking liar?
So
you know?
how... Yeah, but it makes sense now.
Oh,
like
now I understand what happens with drugs. I mean, I've had Valium and gone to sleep and then been woken up and then and done stupid things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when I finally woke up in the morning, I went,
the fuck?
"What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
I never fucking did that." You know, like, so I can fully relate to it.
Yeah.
You know,
so was there? So what was the? There was like an incident where you actually stabbed him.
Yeah, I stabbed him with a barbecue fork because I come home one night, and when I come home, I noticed that there was blood in the kitchen. I come in the back door and I thought, what the fuck's going on here? So I walked down to my mother and father slept in different bedrooms. So I haven't opened my mother's bedroom door, but it was blocked up with drawers. He'd put drawers up against it because he knew I was going to come home and fucking blow. And he tried to get into the bed with her, I guess. Something's happened there, and then she fucking got up and refused him. I don't know if it was sex or whatever it was, you know. But anyway, then he got up and he battered her. He battered her this night, and she had blood clots. They came out had skin around the blood sacs, you know, all out of her nose. And so I just fucking lost it. I ran up the stairs and kicked the fucking door down with the fucking drawers falling off. So I run in and pulled him out of bed and just battered him. And then I ran out in the kitchen and got a barbecue fork, which had two big long prongs on it, about that long. And I just jammed it in his chest and his fucking face. And my mother fucking stopped me. You wouldn't believe it, of all fucking things. And but, you know, I guess she didn't want me to fucking kill him. And
go to jail.
You know. And so he really pulled his head in after that and really stopped throwing around, but it didn't bar him from having a whack at me. I'd walk past a pub or something where he was having a beer, he'd come out and he'd king at me in the street.
Really?
Yeah, so I'd just fucking have to drop him, you know. Just for a ridiculous fucking situation.
Yeah.
And but as it turns out, as I found out as I got older, I always thought I wasn't part of the family. I didn't belong there, you know. And I believe that I was came out of another marriage, out of another father. And that he wasn't my true father. That's the reason I was born in a private hospital when I was a kid, and they had no money. So it was like a hush-hush, you know, keep it quiet. And that's where I think I got the nickname Abo, and I think I am because I believe when my sister died only 2 years ago, she said that I was actually adopted, and that the father was believed to be of an Aboriginal, and he used to drive the buses at Hurstville Station. Well, that's where we lived, out Sylvania Heights way. And so, as it's turned out, maybe I am Aboriginal, and my nickname stuck with me all my life. Since I've been about 14, they called me Abo because I had skinny legs, flat nose, and,
No shit.
Yeah, so it just turned out that may be the absolute truth. I haven't had the DNA yet to prove it, but...
That'd be fucking interesting.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
So, did you... Like, what was your relationship like with your mum then?
My relationship with my mum was just... I sort of used to get pissed off with her because I wondered why, because she kept him around.
Yeah.
Or we'd get flogged, and then, 2 days later we'd be back. We'd go and spend time in motels and hide away from him until he quietened down, and then return the next day only to fucking have it happen again,
It's such a fucking common story, man. Like, how many people in, like, abusive relationships, like, I've got family that... Yeah, I don't want to obviously say too much about it or whatever because she's not here, but just get the fucking shit kicked out of her.
Yeah, that's right.
And just stick around.
Yeah,
and
just crazy.
It seems like such a fucking no-brainer to leave.
Yeah.
And, like, we'd have times where, you'd have to send people around and whatnot and, like, you just think, like, what the fuck drives people? And I know that I had one of my grandfathers was not the best dude as well.
Yeah.
But it was that old time where...
I think it was the gal culture, it was just the way they were.
Because it was so divorced now. It's just like fucking... It's... How the fuck was that?
Yeah, no, that was hard. Don't worry about that. I can't say I was in a swim in the fucking park because it wasn't, But it was...
So what do you... So you just said meditation?
Yeah, I did a lot of meditation during the day.
And what is your meditation?
My meditation is usually just deep breathing, relaxing my body, and focusing sometimes on an object or something, and then you'll just either drift off and go into a beautiful, completely relaxed state, I mean, I've had all sorts of experiences with it, I've even...
Talk about because that shit's interesting.
Well, mate, I can remember when I was at Goulburn Jail in 1971. I was running 10 miles every day, and I was as super fit as they come. And I was only doing 2 years with 9 months parole. And for something I didn't do, I just took the rap for it off a mate of mine when I was 18, and I went to prison over it. So it was only a car stealing offence. So. Anyway, while I was in there, I started drawing a dot on the wall because I've always had bad, attentive things.
ADD.
Yeah, you know what I mean? My head's always been all over the shop, you know what I mean? So I started drawing this dot on the wall like a circle down to a smaller circle, like you're looking down a cone.
Yeah.
And so I used to draw them on the wall and just sit there until I could feel my brain inside going, moving, and my eyes would be watering and aching to the shit ass, and I'd just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Anyway, I started to notice that I could just sit down and read a book right through without a break, put myself in that book. I've never been able to do it, So I really taught me mind how to be calm, how to be still when it had to be, especially under heavy situations, bad things happening in your life. And so I always found it's a place I can go to. It just gives me a sense of relief. I do that every day. But when I was doing this meditation one night, I was laying on the floor and I was practicing this thing I read in a yoga book about breathing through your stomach and just concentrating on just below your navel area. So I started to do that, and I just all of a sudden during the meditation I just heard this like a growl sound, and next minute it was my soul, I fucking swear on my children's life, just popped straight out of my body like that and went pop straight back in, and my eyes were open when I saw it. It's like a golden colour, right?
Fuck.
And I went, what the fuck just happened then? I got up and I started walking up and down the room, but I've never ever been able to do that again, just once. So it sort of...
So what did you make of that experience?
Well, it made me think then really about what my mother taught me, about spirits and about, she always said don't delve into the Ouija boards or don't get involved in that. That's no good. That's the wrong side of the spirit world, right? And so And she said, you'll always be guided, you'll always be helped, because I think you're exactly like I am. That's how my mother was. She was, and I was. And I think it was to let me know, you know, that's what I believe it was. It happened for, to let me know it truly exists, you know, that you do have a spirit. And that didn't change me passion for doing all crimes or, you know, it was just something that happened and occurred in my life. But it made me well aware of the situation, you know, that, you know, we all have a spirit, and we're all spirits, a lot of us. Animals, dogs, cows, fucking, you know, we all have this energy within us, and that's what it is, a powerful energy force. And anyway, so I've had things like that happen. I've had fucking, you know, I've had visitors touch me leg in the night while I've been asleep. Like, I've had things in my ears telling me things, you know. I'm not talking like being a mental case. I'm talking about just an inner voice that comes to me while I'm asleep. Or if someone's going to turn up and try and harm me or do surveillance on me, I'll hear a dog bark in my dream early in the morning. A dog will bark. I always get a warning. Or something knocks on a window and there's no cunt there. The dogs don't hear it. No one hears it except me. Like fucking strangest things, mate. I've had hundreds of experiences of it. But it's the main thing that's kept me. Every time I've been to a psychic, they say to me, you're a seer. You see things in your dreams, or you see things before they happen to you. And I always do. Like, I always have these warning signs, you know. So why it happens, I've got no fucking idea.
Well, it's probably because you pay attention to it.
Yeah, it probably is, you know. But you know. But all I can say is I'm fucking glad I had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would have been dead 20 fucking times, you know.
So when you said before, like, you've got a soul, but you still love doing the shit that you did. Like, where do you stand on the whole, like, morality of the life that you lived? Like, have you... Because I'm guessing prison and solitary confinement's like a pretty good place to kind of explore. I guess you'd be forced to explore those kind of questions and stuff. Because, I mean, I think a good person can do bad things, and I think a bad person can do good things.
Oh, of course, no doubt
about it.
So
it's like, I don't know, like, where do you stand on that?
Well, mate, I've done plenty of good things for blokes in the prison, and I've done good things for friends. Mate, it's just a lifestyle. I virtually, as I said, I believed in that Celtic belief, that thing that your spirit knows what journey it's going to go on, and I was meant to go down. I was meant to go down it to realise and to learn something spiritual. Yeah. You know, that something truly exists, a greater power exists. And all of these things that have happened to me and it doesn't mean that, you know, I mean, I went to church as a kid and I've always believed in God or whatever you want to call him, right? I just believe in this higher power and that everyone on the planet, animals, humans, all run off the same intelligence. You know, there's one intelligence, a divine intelligence.
Yeah. So it's like all of consciousness kind of thing.
But so I believe what I've done through my life, even though when I've wounded people, I've shot them, I've stabbed them, I've, you know, hit them with baseball bats, but they were other gangsters. They were playing the same game as me. They knew the rules, you know. So it was either fucking first in, best dressed, or fucking I'm going to go down.
Yeah.
You know, some of these fools that chase me and try to kill me, I've caught up with a few of them. You know, some have raised the white flag and send other police over to see me and say, you know, I'm acting on their behalf. They want to throw the white flag up. I said, tell them to get fucked. You know, I'm not throwing the flag will be up when it's fucking finished. You know what I mean? So I just played things in my own life, and I had my own rules and principles. In my gang, the gang with Ned Smith, Ned was greedy, and Ned didn't give a fuck for what reason he wanted to order someone killed. So Ned had the power with the police, so we allowed him that. And I used to say, you just do that and we'll do the crimes. I'll get the people to buy the drugs, to do this, to do that, to do the armed robberies with. You just get the police suite, you know?
Yeah.
Well, when he started to do that, then he started to get his nose out of joint a bit because I was controlling the blokes, you know, in the team. So we started to want to then get involved in things like, you know, so I said, all right, well, at the end of the day, it didn't matter because if we hit a hurdle, the police were going to get us out of it anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because of Ned's influence with them. So they used to come to me and try and ask me to why don't you help us out and get away from Ned? And I said, I'm going to fucking help you out. I don't give people up, mate. So my principles and rules have been that I don't tell. I don't give information against friggin', any me mates, any enemies. That's not my go. I've never had that. And
is that hard to do though when you are looking at real jail time and shit? You just never give a fuck?
No, I just said, mate, if I'm doing the crime and I get caught, well, that's just bad luck.
Yeah, right. It's probably a pretty balanced perspective.
Well,
really.
It's the only one to have, and it's otherwise you'd be hiding out on, protective custody and all that shit. No, you wouldn't want to live a life like that anyway.
And I suppose you were used to being in prison from a pretty young age anyway.
Exactly right. So, it never scared me. Prison didn't scare me. But, at the end of the day, I knew we could do anything, and I mean anything. We could murder, we could do whatever we did as long as we let them know what was going on.
Yeah.
If there was a bit of a gang war, like during the 80s, they tried to kill Ned one day at Piermont, Ned Smith, my partner, and they missed him and shot the bloke who was beside him. So when I got out of jail, I was only doing a short time. I got out of prison and I said, on a related matter, a drug deal, and I got out of the prison and I'd only served 18 months. I paid to get out of that by using people from the tentacles of the octopus that we had, corrupt commissioner of the prisons, Rex Bucket Jackson. I paid him, and we paid judges, to get lighter sentences. So where was I up to?
Fuck, I don't know. I'm deep listening. So Ned, they killed the dude that was next to Ned.
Yeah. So they shot him, but and they shot him in the arm. I mean, he nearly lost his arm. It was a pretty powerful blow. But so when I got out of prison, I said, "You haven't got this bloke yet," and he said, "No." And I said, "Well, why the fuck not?" I said, "I'm not going to be walking around with you, and I become the target like the last bloke."
Yeah.
Right. So I said, "So we either chop in and get in first." So he went and seen the police, and we told them who we were after. And so I went and did the homework. I started to look around where he drank and where he did things. So I followed him, and then I trapped him one night, seen where he was. So I went over and grabbed hold of my mates, and I said, Ned and them, and I said, "Come on, let's go." I got down there and I said, "Well, you shoot him. He's the one who tried to kill you." Right? So I said, "You shoot him and I'll back you up. I'll come in and back you up." So I'm not going to say where it was because it might give the plot away. But anyway, so went into the place. When I turned around, as I went in the door, I looked around and my partner had done the bowl up the road and left me posted. This is Australia's most notorious gangster. Left me on my own, mate. So I just walked in and went bang, bang, shot the bloke and put him down and walked out the place. So the next day, I turned up at a pub to have a drink, and the copper said to me, "Oh, fucking Abo," he said, "you shouldn't have shot that bloke in the head." He said his brains have now swollen up. He said he'll have more brains than he's ever had in his fucking life. I said, "Fucking you kidding?" I looked at Ned and I said, "What, have you already told him?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't worry about it, we're sweet." And I was filthy on it. Didn't know that he'd even told him it was me. Now, if he would have died, the way Ned's ego worked was if the bloke would have died, Ned would have taken the rap. So he would have copped the rap and said he did it.
Yeah,
and nothing ever would have been said about it. So, they've written about it. It's been in crime books. They know who it was. So, he's been... So he died years later anyway. He ended up surviving that bloke, but until he died of a heart attack.
Yeah, right.
But he ended up running Ned Smith over.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, he ran Ned Smith over on April Fool's Day. About 1985, I think. April Fool's Day it was, and he said, "I'm just going to go across the road and get the car." I said, "All right, I'll wait for you at the front." And he walked across the road, and the bloke waited for him and run straight over and run him over about 5 times, broke his collarbone, his shoulder, his back, put him in a bad way. And anyway, he was, he survived. He's a big, strong bastard, so he knitted up all right.
So what, you were saying before that you get in those situations and you stay calm. Do you just, a lot of people, they're seeing a dude cross the road and gets fucking cleaned up. Yep. They're freaking out. "Oh, fucking call him." There's obviously a thing you've got going on that's kind of dead-faced calm in those kind of situations. What are you feeling in a way?
Well, you don't really feel anything. I don't even think about it. you know, but it's after. I can understand how some people can get hooked on it, because when you do put someone down and they go down and you got that, and you've shot them, or it's a power thing, you know, and it comes and you have this high for a few days, you know, and then your reputation all of a sudden in the you know, in that underworld circle you run in, the organised crime. I don't call underworld. Underworld to me is just fucking people who are crooks. Yeah. You know, organised crime is a completely different fucking kettle of fish, you know, and that's what I ran in, organised crime. And
because it sounds like you are proud of the way that you researched and put together plans, and it was a real operation. It wasn't like just sticking up a random person in the street for their wallet.
Or robbing a chemist or a fucking convenience store. No, I didn't do things like that. I always thought big in my head, and that's the way I went. I went for where the money was, you know, and that was in the trucks going to the banks, you know, or the payrolls going around to, you know, pay off all the waterboard side workers on the streets, you know, whatever they were. You know, but I always put a lot of homework into what I did. Yeah. And that really, when I left Ned Smith's gang in 86 until 1990, when I went to prison over a stabbing of a police prosecutor, I'd ran another gang of robbers, and
did you have the green light then once you left Ned?
Well, of course. I just used the police I had.
Yeah, so you'd gathered enough people by this time. But
they said to me, they weren't going to give me any help, because they said, no, you got to give us something. I said, I'm giving you fucking money. That's all you're getting. Yeah. And I said, well, I don't tell, mate. I said, they're my fucking rules. You want to go without getting a fucking quid? Well, that's your problem. I said, but with you or without you, I'm still going to fucking do them. Mm. So they come back in about a week's time and said to me, they said, all right, we'll cop the fucking deal. So, all right, good. So after that, but I never used them all the time. I might have used them on just certain ones, you know, like Cockatoo, because there was only one road out of there, you know, and I knew I always had to have an escape plan too, right? So I'd tell the police, that's the way I'm coming, so you make sure that you're going to block that, right? So in case they turned on me, the alternate route was another way. Yeah, right. Right? So just in case. It was just a backup plan I always kept, you know, because I never trusted them 100%, you know, some of them 80%, that's about it, right? So I'd always do that. So that's why I had another angle, and I'd just park the car 200 yards away from the robbery, parked the car in an old boat shed, hopped onto a rubber dinghy, and fucking, not a rubber dinghy, a fucking outboard motorboat.
Yeah, like a Zodiac thing or whatever.
Yeah, went across the other side, heading over towards Lane Cove, and put a stick on the accelerator and headed the boat up the river on its own. So, you know, we were far gone. You know, we're in fucking Manly within a fucking, 20 minutes of the robbery. So we were the complete opposite way to where they were all looking. So, it became, they've shown it on Gangs of Oz and things like that, of me robbing the payroll. We just dressed up as painters. Yeah. So, we didn't turn up with balaclavas on and all that. We'd have wigs on and beards, and, we'd be painting the wharf. I can remember the council bloke sitting there in the truck, and they said, this came out later when they were doing the news, and they said, what are these blokes doing our fucking job? That's our job, painting the wharf. Wonder why they're doing it. They must have contracted it out. There we are, painting the wharf. Next one, they pull up and they get out, and big bloke used to jump out and strap on a real big gun, and like the cowboys used to, strap it on the side of him, and he'd walk around, and he'd just seen us all painting. And then next minute I'd just give the word as the money came out of the back of the truck, and the boat had come in to pick it up. And as he's walking out onto the wharf, bang, we grabbed him right on the point. Everyone dropped their brushes and pulled out the guns. No way. It was over and done with in 5 minutes, and we were gone. And, 20 minutes later, we're on the other side of the freaking city. So, but Ned blew up about it in a pub he was in and screamed out, fucking Abo got that. He's got under me guard. So he tried to think that I took him there once, and then I changed my mind on doing it with him because we'd had a fallout. And so I just left him out of it. So in the end, I knew he was sniffing around it. He wanted to have a go at it, but he wouldn't have gone that way. They would have come unstuck coming out of there. It was pretty, So in a way, I planned things really well. It doesn't matter what I did. I always plan them well, because that's what brings you together in organised crime. You got the best blokes who can do who can steal the eye out of a needle, who can,
Yeah.
who can stop the alarms from going off. I'm talking about new alarms that are around. I mean, you might be digging in a tunnel from underneath a vault and an alarm goes off. You've got to be able to disengage all these things before you even go down and start to dig, because you've got sensitive monitors on them, and so you've got to have some pretty smart cookies. But, if whatever we did, there'd be a photo identikit thing put in the paper, and of course it'd be nothing that looks anything like us because we were paying the police.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked. It was beautiful, So anyone who didn't want to play that way, well, they were fools. But, to all the people on the outside of that life, they all look in and say, oh, they work for the Jacks and, the Jacks mean the police. Well, no, they work for fucking us. Ned might have worked for the police, and the leader of the thieving gang down in the Rocks might have, Michael Early and Lenny McPherson. They all did things like that and scratched the coppers' backs. Well, I didn't. I didn't give a fuck about them. I just fucking run under the cover of that green light.
Yeah.
And I did what I had to do to survive and live the life I wanted.
And how much money were we talking?
Millions and millions, mate.
Fuck, back
millions,
then too.
Mate. I can look back. I can remember one little thing that we did, and there was nearly $8 million involved in cash that come from our gang, and it disappeared. So it disappeared because something that we were just about to pay for got pounced on by another group of police. I won't say who they are because it might.
Yeah. So
we lost the $8 million. So you got to understand that with all the money that comes in, there are losses.
Yeah.
And you got to accept that. So you just got to put your head down and get back into it again and get back in the saddle. So
when you've got you said there was drug stuff as well that you were doing.
Yep.
So would you buy the bulk drugs with the money that you got through the robberies?
Yeah.
And who were you dealing with? Was it like foreign countries and smuggling stuff in through other countries, or was it stuff that was already
things
in the country?
happen with other foreign countries, and then it.
Because what were the drugs that you guys were selling back then?
Mainly hash. So
it was all weed back then.
Black hash. Tons of marijuana, tons of hash.
Was cocaine big back then, or was that pre-cocaine?
No, coke was it was just starting to come around the mid '80s, in the early '80s.
I can't imagine a world without cocaine.
No. And if you go down the eastern suburbs, they're all full of it.
Fucking oath,
the higher you go up in life, the more they use it.
Yeah.
So no, we missed that. So then it was the heroin and all that. So even though I didn't like really selling the heroin, look, it was that weak by the time it hit the friggin' street, mate. It was,
right.
Would have given someone probably rotted their teeth and wouldn't have made them overdose. So,
yeah.
So, and that's not being a smart huss. It's been the fucking truth. I didn't want to fucking kill anyone doing it. Just fucking, if you got off on it, get off on it. But
well, I mean, it's fucking supply and demand. Like, there's people that just want it. Like, it's.
Well, I always say it's demand and supply. Like, they demand it. They're the ones who want it.
Yeah.
I often have arguments with people, and they say, yeah, but you bought in tons of drugs and you fucking did this and you did that. I said, listen. I said, when you go home of a night and you're drunk as a freaking fool and you flog your wife or your kids, right? Do you go down and blame the publican for selling you the beer, or do you fucking blame yourself?
Mm.
So that's who you blame, your fucking self. If you don't want to, I had the same fucking, went down the road with all my mates who got on the junk as young blokes, sticking heroin up their arm and becoming messes, smoking that much dope that their brains were scrambled. I grew up with all them blokes, and yet I used to say, no thanks. I don't want to go down that road. I always want to keep me smarts about me, And even though I lost those smarts when I might have been full of piss, So that was my drug of choice, and, And to organised crime, it's just a commodity, mate. They're just passing it from one person to someone else, and they do whatever they fucking like with it, So they don't see the consequences of some poor bastard down on the street. Yeah. But now I think you do. Like if you look at all the ice blokes today, the blokes who sell the ice, then you have a look at them fucking kids on that, mate. It's a bad, bad drug.
Yeah.
I see them down in the pub I drink in, chewing their teeth together and grinding. They're angry. They're ready to fucking do anything on it,
Yeah.
So it's a completely different drug. I don't, if I was still playing today, I would have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And I mean nothing to do with it. A horrible drug. I've seen some fucking terrible fucking things. I mean, they pull their own eyes out on the fucking shit. I mean,
it's pretty fucking gnarly, eh?
Oh, it's fucking horrible shit.
What do you think with, like, Canada's just legalised weed completely, and you've got countries like Portugal that have decriminalised all drugs. Like, as a dude that's seen both worlds, been a part of the supply chain, like, how would it just fucking cut it off at the knees if it was you were able to go to a pharmacy and buy heroin?
Well, it probably would first off, and then they'd find something else and make something else, and there'd be a new drug out on the market, you know.
Yeah.
There's people always experimenting out there finding shit that's going to become the new fucking fashion, you know. And so, I mean, I've had mates.
But let's say like cocaine or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's a hugely popular drug.
Yeah.
If you could go to a place and buy pharmaceutical grade cocaine for every weekend, like that'd have to fuck with the cartels.
Oh, fucking
right?
other would. Yeah, it'd stuff them.
Yeah, and it's like to me the people that have these objections, because like it's fucking thousands and thousands of years of drug use. We're not going to curb drug use ever.
No.
There's nothing that any of us can do.
Well, people just go and sniff petrol or glue if they have to.
Yeah, exactly.
To get off,
right.
you know, that's what they want to do. Let them fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you come into this fucking life and you've got a brain, you're the master of your own fucking mind. So, you know, get out there and fucking, you know, fucking simple. I scratch my head at blokes who touch the drugs. I mean, anyone who ever would have got on in our gang, we would have shot.
Yeah, right.
You know, you would have been out, or at least out of the gang.
Yeah.
You know, no one touched it, mate. The only bloke who ever did was a hitman who came down from Melbourne who got into our company was Christopher Dale Flannery, who they call Rent-A-Kill.
Yeah, right.
And he became a very infamous person. There were 3 inquests into his death. Why, I'll never fucking know. But, you know, he used to get on the coke and try and get Ned Smith on it, you know, my partner. And I used to just fucking look at Ned and shake my head, just say, the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know. But, you know, that he'd have to be full of coke to go and do a fucking murder, go and do a hit. You know what I mean? It gave him the balls to go and do it.
Yeah.
And they didn't have no ability at armed robberies. They were hopeless at them. They couldn't do any. They didn't have the skill, so killing people becomes an easy option to take on board. And you know, blokes who are doing it today are getting paid $300,000 and $400,000 for a hit.
Well, it's harder to do these days, I guess.
Oh, that's right. You know, because of all the surveillance and technology, and you know, the mobile phones they carry. I mean, we had things way back in the old days that they look like a telephone monitor, you know, like, you know, your TV channel changer, but I had a mouthpiece on it and an earpiece, and say Ned had one and I had one and everyone on the gang had one. So we'd just ring up, you punch in what you want to say in text, and then you just put it up to the mouthpiece and say, you ready, Charlie? That means he switched on for his end. He puts his earpiece onto the phone, then I press the button on this little computer, and it'd go, just a little whistle like that. When the whistle finished, the message would go on. And then he'd come up and he'd put in his code to break the code, and then open, and he'd be the text. Once it come up, then you had to delete it. But fucking...
That's fucking
mate,
wild.
It was wild stuff.
Where were you getting that shit from?
Well, we're getting it off blokes who came from overseas.
I was going to say, like, all that shit
would
would have to come from America, right?
Yeah. You know, we had things that you'd whack into a lock, and just like a gun, you'd keep pressing it until the lock come undone. You know, little things, little other clips could pop up and down. Another one, two might pop up, 3.
Yeah.
Bang! Oh, the lock caught the lock. Bang, gone. You know, they were called what you call, you know, skeleton keys.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they open anything. So, you know, we had things like that. We had fucking shit that I used to wear. Thing like if we were going to meet someone new to do a deal with, you'd wrap it around your stomach. It was like a belt, and then it had like an old shoehorn in it. You used to put in your shoes to keep your shoes in shape, and that'd sit on the inside of your leg. And if you got near anyone and they were wired up, say it was a policeman or an undercover copper or a bloke trying to wire you up to pass on to the police, well, it'd tap your leg. So as soon as it started tapping you, the closer you got to the person who had it on them, the faster it'd tap you.
That's sick.
You know, so... I ripped the bloke's shirt off one day down in the pub, and here he was all wired up, and he said, I'm only here to catch the SP blokes, mate, I'm a policeman. Right, so, and he said, we walked outside the pub, and he said, see that white van there, that's where they're recording it. I said, oh, I'll be fucked. You know, that was in the old days when they used to have big cassettes and put them into the car and tune it into the frequency of the radios, you know.
Right.
You know, that's how they had to pick it up then. You know, technology's got a lot better since then. So, but, you know, unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, what was the lifestyle then that you guys were able to live? Like, if you're dealing with, you know, if $8 million can go fucking missing back in the, you know, 70s and 80s.
Yeah, late 70s and 80s, yeah.
So it was a pretty solid lifestyle you had going on.
Oh, yeah, we'd do what we liked, you know, go on nice holidays and do things.
I was going to say, did you travel much?
Oh, yeah, but not overseas. I didn't worry about going, you know, I was always needed to be on call virtually nearly all the time. So, you know, I might piss off for a couple of weeks here and there. I remember once I went to Dunk Island and ended up ringing Ned when I was up there after I'd been missing about a week. Where the fuck you been? I said, I'm on holidays. I'm having a holiday.
Just did a big job?
I said, well, what do I need to fucking come in fucking see you and ask for a fucking break? You know what I mean? I said, get stuffed. You know, so that was actually the worst time I did that, because when I did it, he had 2 weeks to be with my crew and he started poisoning their minds about me, see? And he started to tell them that the police wanted me dead when it was him and Flannery who wanted me dead. And so they tried to eliminate me then. He started... that life breeds egos, mate, so big you can't fucking jump over.
So do you reckon that's the real problem with living that life?
Is that people... egos are fucking huge, mate. And greed is fucking, you know, you think, fuck me. You know, or they want to kill someone because he's, you know, he's got 200,000 on him. I'd say, well, fucking leave me out of that. And that's where my principles come into it. And that's why I can look back and go, whatever I did because I had to fucking do it, not because someone had fucking more money than me or fucking, you know what I mean? I didn't ever, so I kept my principles right where they fucking should have been. And because of that, I had a lot of trust with a lot of people. They trusted me. But in saying that, I've had 20 attempts on my life only through 2 people that I ever came through. It came through Ned, and then a bloke that he ran with after he got out of my company. And then he became like he wanted to be Neddy. Yeah. You know, and he was, I called him the clone in my book. He was the exact likeness of Ned, except he was a smaller version. Yeah. You know, and he wanted to be Mr. Big and carry on, you know, where I said, mate, you can have all them titles you fucking like, you know, you go and do what you do and I'll do what I do and never the twain's mate, you know, but he'd given evidence against me, so he needed to shut it up, right? Now so he went out and said, this is what Ned's saying, telling the coppers, the detectives, this is what Ned's saying out there, and Abo's now backing him up, right? But he didn't know the truth because he wasn't in my yard. So I could never get over and tell him that when I was in prison. And next minute he started going out in cars himself, and I thought, fucking, where was he going? Then he come back one day and I said, where have you been today? He said, I just got taken into town by the police, and he said, but they, no, he didn't say that, sorry. He said to me, the screws took me over to Silverwater Jail to start serving me time there. And I said, well, why would they do that? You're in maximum security at the moment. Why would they take you there? And he said, well, they reckon I've only got a few years to go, and so they sent me there. I said, well, the Classo board hadn't even, classification board for all that stuff hasn't even sat yet. And I thought, there's something fucking wrong here. So then when I realised he'd been going out giving information to the police about what Ned's doing, and I'm backing up this story that Ned's telling, which I didn't. All I backed up was, yeah, I guess we had a green light. Yeah, that was it. So that wasn't enough evidence to sink any bastard, you know. So it became a white elephant, really, the whole ICAC investigation.
Yeah, right.
But he went and covered his ass by telling his own gang, the same as Ned did, the police want him killed, right? So we're going to get him killed. So look, they go, right, how fucking beautiful, give us a green light. You know what I mean? So then a new gang come on and play, you know. So they were trying to take over and didn't want me out there to fucking come and stick me out into their business.
So when did you really start getting the feeling that Ned was out to get you?
Well, I realised that I always knew that Ned was never the one who was ever going to pull the trigger. I'd learnt that through experience, through running in the door and him taking off, you know. I always found, and I thought this bloke's got the falsest reputation as far as an assassin goes.
Yeah.
You know, he's a big, strong bloke and he was tough and he could fight, but he was far from what reputation that they ever gave him. You know? When it come to the real violence, he wasn't. You know, I was more violent than Ned. You know, even though Ned's doing life, I was more violent than Ned.
Is he still in jail? Or is he
Yeah,
dead
Ned's
now?
been in 31 years.
Is he? So he's still alive?
Yeah, he's only done about 7 years of his second life sentence. And that's for a murder he never committed. But he talked himself into it because he was big noting to a cellmate. And the cellmate wired him up on, you know, the police had bugs in his cell and he brought himself unstuck.
And you know he didn't do it?
I fucking know he didn't do it.
That's fucking crazy.
You know? I know 100% he didn't do it.
And is he the kind of guy that can handle prison the same way you can?
No, that's why he wanted to roll over, mate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so once he went in there, he thought someone else is going to get the green light like we've had. I don't want him to do it. So, you know what I mean? He wanted to fuck it for everybody else.
Yeah.
And he thought, in the end, no one will care. I'm only talking about coppers. But that wasn't what happened. Well, when the ICAC wouldn't give him any time off his sentence, he realised that he'd been had.
Yeah.
The National Crime Authority then grabbed him and took him down, and they started asking questions about murders that had happened. So he started blaming Roger Rogerson for murders that him and someone else had been involved in to get himself out of the way.
Yeah.
Right? And so they'd help him. Well, then they didn't help him. So he went to the federal police. They didn't help him. So he ended up now he's done, when he finished 25 years, they came up and you said your first life sentence finished. Now you're starting on your second one. And he was nowhere near it. He ordered it. He ordered the hit. But he didn't kill him. He wasn't there when the bloke was killed. But he knew how he died and what gun he did because he gave the bloke the gun to go and kill him.
Fucking idiot.
So that's the way he worked and operated. He used people that, and I realised that after I'd run in on that bloke that I shot. And I thought, well, I ain't running in the door first off next time. You know what I mean? You got a problem, if there's a problem. And my rule was, it's got to be the last resort.
Yeah.
To go and knock someone, kill them, it's got to be the last resort. There's got to be a reason for, decapping their knees or friggin', So I'd go into things and I'd say, oh, look, it's only fucking 30,000 or something the bloke fucking ripped us for. Just give him a fucking serve and fuck off and he'll never work with us again.
Yeah.
Where he'd want to go and get him and fucking get two blokes in the gang to go and fucking chop him up. Well, I used to get the shits with all that shit,
Yeah.
And so that's why, But regardless of how many murders ever happened around the place or robberies or whatever we did, no one ever came and seen us about them. You know what I mean? So, we had free rein to do what we fucking wanted to do as long as we didn't take it into the public arena. And the public arena meant hurting a policeman, but sometimes we did. I remember one night the Organised Crime Squad came into a fucking club we were in and we were drinking with a detective there at the time who was a big police inspector. Anyway, they came in and someone overheard them say on the way up the escalator into this place, it was in the Imperial Arcade in Sydney, between George and Castlereagh, I think. And they, as they were coming up, they said, oh, that gang gets up here, why don't we fucking get into them? There was about 10 of them. They thought, oh, there's only 3 of us, they'll fucking bash us. So they come up the fucking stairs, but we already knew about it because some bloke had overheard them talking about it. So as soon as they come up, we sent them some money down to have a fucking drink instead. Here's some money, have a drink. And they said, tell them to get fucked. So the big copper walked down and offered them the money, who was with us. He said, that's from Ned and the boys. He said, tell them to get fucked. So he come back and he said, they told you to get fucked. So Ned run down and went fucking bang, bang, upended one of the coppers. And then it just erupted. A bloke from another gang jumped in and fucking bashed him. And then I jumped in, So they were supposed to be out doing surveillance on other blokes, running around during all this gang war bullshit in the early 80s, and here we are fucking flogging the Organised Crime Squad that's out supposed to be doing this job. So that's why we got through the break on that. Another time the federal police followed us all day, trying to keep up with us, and we're having a day on the drink, celebrating after a good week's fucking crime sprees, right? Yeah. So we're up the Aircrew bar in King's Cross. And anyway, these coppers come in and we knew they'd been with us all day. So we just didn't give a fuck, right? So when we got in there anyway, we knew they were all federal police. So I jumped up and I used to do a bit of singing, as a young bloke, going talent quest and all that. So
yeah, really?
Yeah, so there was a bloke there called Terry King. He used to play the piano up there all night in this all-night bar up there. It was a great little bar. And the Air Crew bar. So we get up there and started doing, and I said, listen, he said, Abo, do you want to get up and do a song? I said, yeah, good as gold, mate.
What'd you
so
sing?
I jumped up and started to sing My Way. Well, so just so I'm singing it, the fucking copper come over and he said, get off the fucking stage, let someone else up there, right? So I was on the microphone like this and I just unscrewed it, pulled it out of the mic and I said, you'll have to excuse me for a minute. I said, we've got some imbeciles in the audience. I'll just deal with it. So I walked straight over, went fucking crashed, left hook one of them, down one of them went. It was on. So we walked into him, me and this other bloke from this other gang. I just call him John. So we flogged these coppers, give them a horrible hide and all those feds. And Ned and that took off out the door again. Fucking him and this other bloke. So next fucking minute, we got a call. The leader of his gang actually got a call and he had a lot of connections with the police. They were just thieves and drug importers, who used all the wharves. They had all the power with all that. And we were the armed robbers and the fucking did all the heavy shit, So he came back and got a message off his boss from the head coppers right up the top, and they said, what the fuck do they think fucking Abo and fucking John are doing? Fucking flogging all the coppers. He said, well, they fucking annoyed the shit out of him. And he said, anyway, they weren't supposed to be there. They were supposed to be on their job. Same thing. And he said that they get away with it this time. Well, we always got away with it. Sometimes it might have cost us, 30 grand or something like that.
And so what would they come to you, the cops would then come to you and say, look,
yeah,
we got to fucking now you've created work for us.
That's right.
We've got to fill in some fucking paperwork.
Exactly.
You're going to pay us for the time, basically.
That's right, exactly. So we'd always sling them something and fucking shut them up,
Yeah.
And then it just kept everything sweet. But, so they soon learnt not to fuck around with us and, I mean, there's been times when I've been on my own, when I've looked over and said, hello, there's fucking 20 of them bastards that I bashed. I had to sneak out the fucking door, you know what I mean?
So you pick your fights, you're not going into it being an idiot.
Not fucking stupid, you know what I mean? But, so, look, but for all those things, I used to even say to Ned, mate, what the fuck? I remember one night we were down at the Lord Nelson Hotel. There was some water police down there all drinking in the group, and this is right down in the Rocks area, the Lord Nelson, and anyway, pretty toffee sort of an area these days, in the old days it was just a slum, but we were down there and next minute these federal police, the Waterside police came in and one of them yelled out, what are you doing with your fucking daughter out with you tonight? So Ned had this young Sheila that he was rooting at the time, and she was always dressed up to the nines and hanging off him,
Yeah,
and
trophy chick.
Yeah, so that's how we carried around as the trophy. And so next fucking minute, Ned ran over and whacked him and pulled his knife out and went, whoosh, and it went right up through his fucking jumper, luckily, right, and didn't go into him, right. Well, next fucking minute, Ned's gone bang, knocked him out, and as he done, another copper jumped up from the table and yelled out, officer down. Oh. And he ran over to the bar and grabbed the phone, started to dial the numbers, and I tapped him on the shoulder when he turned around and went bang, hit him straight up under the fucking chin and said, make that 2. So, those sort of rumours flew around the freaking underworld, they knocked out one and then said, here's, make it 2, bring an ambulance.
So then I guess that... You said that ego is like the thing in the underworld, but is reputation just as important?
Oh, fucking oath.
So you were more focused. Were you more focused on reputation than ego?
Oh, fucking reputation, yeah, above everything. And my reputation, I always portrayed out there was that I'd speak to anybody, I could go to any gang and talk to anybody, and that you could trust me.
Yeah.
That's the fucking reputation I had. But they knew that I was fucking violent if I fucking had to be, but I'd rather go and sort something out with me mouth and fucking try and calm things down than to, go and attack them and start fucking shooting at them and carrying on.
Because that's just going to create more shit to deal with, right?
So when Ned actually started running with Chris Flannery, got into our company and come up from Melbourne and started working for George Freeman, one of the old Lenny McPherson gangs, the whole school that had been operating for 30 years. he started working with him, this Chris Flannery, and it soon got around town that we heard a rumour that Ned come and see me one night, and he said, I've just been told over the phone, he said that Christopher Dale Flannery wants to kill you and me. And I said, well, I fucking doubt that. I said, I know Chris. I said, he wouldn't want to kill me. And I thought, you fucking liar, Ned. You're only using me in it, so I'll come with you. You know, so I said, all right, well, let's go down and fucking front him. I know where he lives. So we'll go down. He said, no, we'll fucking kill him. I said, all right, we'll go to his fucking house and give it to him. So he lived at Tempe. So as we're going down, he said, no, look, we'll go up into Pitt Street into my girls' unit. And he said, I want to ring Roger first. What do you want to ring fucking Roger Rogerson for?
Was he the police
He was
dude?
He was the head copper that gave Ned the green light. You know?
Yeah.
And he said he's in prison now doing a life sentence, you know, for killing killing the little Asian bloke. He just got in a big ice deal.
Fuck.
And he got sentenced to life, him and another copper.
Shit.
So anyway, so he was Australia's most notorious copper for sure, Roger Rogerson. And so he went down and where was I? I kept on running off the track.
Going up, he wanted to call Roger because
he went. And I said, what do you want to get him involved for? He said, I'll just cover our ass when things happen. I said, let's just go and fucking see the goose first.
Yeah,
fucking find out if it's
real.
Right, you know. So anyway, Roger ended up setting up a meeting in the Foster's Hotel in the city and in Kent Street, the Sydney. So I went down to the Foster's Hotel and in comes fucking Chris and he said, hello, Abo, where you going, mate? Because I'd known him from the prison when he was on remand. They extradited him up here from Melbourne on a murder charge and of which he beat the charges. Anyway, he came up and he walked in and we said, well, you know, these are the rumours we've heard. Do you want to kill? Well, he said, I don't know, that's not true. So the more we delved into it and got into there, he nodded his head to it. He said, yeah, I did. He said, I said something to... He said, I did it deliberately so I'd get to meet yous.
Yeah, right.
Right, meet Ned, right? And I went, yeah, fucking liar. You know. So he dead said it, don't worry about that. So
you think this Chris dude was lying or Ned?
Oh, no, Chris was lying.
When he said that he only did it to meet you.
Yeah, that's right. You know. So I worked it out. But then Roger said it'd be good if you all got on. Why don't you fucking, you know, put him in the fucking team? So Ned was talking about it on the way home. I said, you're fucking kidding, aren't you? I said, I know him. I said, but he's a toe cutter. He'll fucking shoot you in the back. He said, he don't give a fuck. He's got no principle or anything. So I said, fucking don't, if you want to fucking run with him, I said, then I'm going. Right? Well, then they started, this is when the attempts on my life started to happen, all around this time. So by Ned Smith himself, with others that he hired in that gang, like Chris Flannery being one of them.
So Ned ended up bringing Chris into his gang,
into the team, you know, and then knocking around with us all the time, right? Well, his wife hated me guts. One night we were having a meeting during the gang wars in 1984. And it was the meeting was held down in a bloke called Tony Eustace's bar, who Chris Flannery ended up murdering, right? And we had a meeting down there in the Double Bay, and he brought his wife along with him. Well, as I've told you, I don't involve women in things. Anyway, while we were sitting there, she walked over and left the table she was on and came over and sat with me, and she said, Abo, can I just ask you something? She said, how many people have you killed? And I said, well, if I'd killed anyone, you'd be the last cunt I'd tell. Right? Well, with that, she just got up. She said, apparently we were not on the same wavelength. I said, no, we're fucking not. And I said, sorry about that. I just don't talk to women about anything, love. So she goes over and tells him. He starts biting on his bourbon glass and fucking
getting all fired
as if
up.
they're supposed to going to be fucking worrying me, you know. So I didn't give a fuck about him physically. I would have fucking, you know, I've already picked him up and dumped him on his head before. So anyway, he started fucking talking and carrying on crap. And I said, listen, what the fuck? What he wanted Ned to do, he wanted Ned to fucking join forces with him and then take over the old gang. I said, they've got nothing left, mate. What the old gang's got's all fucking gone. You know, what George Freeman does is still do the gambling. We can start up our own gambling if that's what you want, but there's no fucking money in it now. There's fucking money in that now. You know, there might be if you've got the right people, but it's too much fucking drama. You're always chasing up fucking money all the time.
Yeah.
The deals we do today, we get fucking cash in the end. And I said, what are you going to gain out of it? I said, if you can tell me there's something we can gain out of it, then I'm all for it. I'll join you, right? But if not, I'm fucking out. Count me out. So when I left the company that night, they fucking all started jabbering together.
Yeah.
You know?
And how much like piss is involved in this? Like are they you know,
that's just part of it. No, they were talking when they were stone cold sober about it.
Yeah,
so,
right. So
you know
it's not like a thing that's fueled by
No. We'd only just got there, so we're all stone cold sober. So anyway, by the end of the fucking night, you know, she'd convinced them that I should go, and
what a cunt.
So next fucking minute, you know, money from the safe that I hide in one of these fucking pub fucking disappears. Then I find out that it's the publicans fucking handed over the money to someone else, which was my money. So I jammed a fucking gun in his mouth to find out who fucking did it, and then he told me Ned had sent a bloke down there to pick up the money. So I said, fuck it, I'm going up to fucking front him. So next minute he rings me. I'm at a place, because we didn't walk around with mobiles. You know?
Yeah.
The mobiles then were big block fucking batteries that you fucking had to carry in a handle, you know?
Yeah.
Not too big, so... And even if they did, I wouldn't have never talked over them, you know, or even fucking carried one, to tell you the fucking truth. So away we went, and so I fucking bustled on up the street. I was just up from this hotel where I kept the money. So I took a gun with me, jammed it down the back of my fucking pants, and I knocked on the door of the unit of Ned's girlfriend. Next minute, the door opened, and she looked at me and blinked her eyes about 10 times in succession, you know, like as a warning, which was very nice of her. I've always respected her for that. But I already knew. I knew in me fucking heart something, but I'm going into the lion's den. That's what I do, you know. There's no good me fucking running away and fucking hiding. You know what I mean? There's no point in that. So I walk in and said, I've got to fucking front it. Whatever happens, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know. So I walked in, and as I walked in, Ned and two blokes were standing just to my left. Kathleen Flannery, Christopher Dale Flannery's wife, who was a horrible fucking woman. She was on the sitting on the end of the lounge, and Chris Flannery was sitting on the lounge with his hand under a pillow. Under the pillow.
I've seen enough movies to fucking know what that means.
Exactly. So that's where the gun was, with the silencer on it, right? And so next minute Ned said, oh, we just got to go somewhere for a minute. We'll be back in a sec. I said, well, you need to talk to me fucking first. And he said, we'll be back in a fucking minute. So they walk out the door. She's still fucking looking at me, giving me funny looks, fucking Michelle, Ned's girlfriend. So I walked out in the kitchen where she was, and she just said, look out. I said, yeah, I'm a Jerry. So anyway, I went back, and as I walked back, I got closer to him, and I said, well, where'd Ned go? He said, oh, fuck do I know, and he started gesturing with his hands. The moment his hand come away from the pillow, I fucking pounced on him, you know, on the lounge. And I pulled my own gun out, fucking stuck it on his fucking jaw, pulled his gun out and said, look, and so you're carrying this with the silencer on for fucking nothing, are you fucking dog? So I'm probably seconds away from fucking putting a mongrel down.
Yeah.
You know? And the fucking door comes open. And in comes a shield. Well, I spun around with the fucking gun in my arm, aiming at the fucking women, because I thought it was them coming back in.
Yeah.
So I thought, bang, bang, there, fucking shot. He's fucking shot. I'm shooting a lot of them. Right? So next fucking minute, it was this woman who worked down the Lord Nelson Hotel, who was a friend of Michelle's. She'd come into the fucking unit. So I had to walk away, you know, otherwise I would have had to have killed her and, you know, to shut her up. And I don't kill fucking women or have anything to do with that. So I walked away. And I fucking, I'm sorry that happened because, you know.
I was going to say, how much drama did that create?
Oh, well,
it
created fucking heaps. Well, now they knew, they thought, he fucking knows, he's not fucking dumb.
Yeah, so now they have to do it.
So now we have to fucking get him. So they started putting all these plans of action into fucking play. Well, in between all that happening, the story is that Roger Rogerson was offered a deal by Chris Flannery and a bloke called Williams from Melbourne over a drug case. And he was given $50,000 to go and bribe this copper called Michael Drury. So Roger apparently gets in touch with him, and I say allegedly because I wasn't there, right? So, but I know how it all went down because I've been in conversations about it. So they go to this, he meets this copper and he says, I want to give you some money to pull up on this case in Melbourne, this Williams case. And he said, I can't, it's gone too far. And he said, I can't help you. They walked away. So next minute they said, well, can't you offer him more money? So he tried. Rogerson apparently tried to bribe him again, and he said, no, I can't do it. So the next fucking plan of action was, let's fucking kill him. Here's $500,000 on the table. That's what it's going to cost you, right? So Rogerson and Flannery meet in a restaurant with Buffhead Williams, the dog, and they said to him, righto, he said, we'll do it, $500,000. So they would get $250,000 up front and then $250,000 on the result.
Yeah.
Right? So the first $250,000 apparently turned up in their pocket, right? And so next minute they're having discussions about it. Well, I'm at this house one day at the back of Flannery's, and they're having discussions about it. And I said, you're seriously not going to go and fucking shoot a copper, are you? Are you fucking serious? And he said, I'll get me mate from Melbourne. He's coming up, Laurie Prendergast, and he said, we'll fucking do the robberies. Yeah, we'll do the fucking hit on him, And I said, mate, you're fucking kidding. You're just going to bring the biggest heat on the fucking gangs here in this city. It'd be the worst thing that can fucking happen. I said, are you involved in it, or what do you want to do? He said, I'm just fucking listening. Thought, well, you'll be behind the goalpost when it fucking happens anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And because he never took the fucking ball up with anything like that. And I said, all right, well, leave me fucking out of that one too. Right? I said, you're the fucking mentally fucking retarded, mate. So anyway, I walked away. Well, that was another reason they wanted to fucking kill me.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened? Drury gets shot at his house, shot in the chest, fucking ends up in hospital in a coma for fucking, couple of weeks. He comes out of it and he...
So they didn't kill him?
No, they didn't kill him. So then that was the worry and concern. He started to fucking talk.
Yeah.
And he blamed Rogerson. So next minute...
So because he's not dead, he already knows that already offered him the money that's come from Rogerson. So
exactly.
You're not going to do the job, you're going to get hit.
So the police who get sent down there, of course, are all friends of Rogers. Right? So they all go into the hospital to fucking see him, and they say this. I mean, all of this was played out on Blue Murder, the documentary that they did about our gangs in the 80s, right? So this is all part of that, and they went down and fucking and did all this fucking business. Anyway, then next minute he just said fucking no. He said, I'm telling you the truth. Rogerson fucking offered me the bribe, and this is what happened, and I believe this is the result of it.
But the cops already know that Rogers, because he's one of
of course
their
they
dudes.
fucking know. But anyway, so they suspend Rogerson from the force. He gets the arse from the force, and then next fucking minute, like you got to remember, I'm still involved in these fucking discussions people are having, and I'm fucking blowing up about it. Next fucking minute, I get fucking pulled in. By a fucking, not pulled in, I was standing on the side of the street down the Rocks area, and these coppers pulled up. He was an American, he had an American accent, and he got out of the car and said, I believe you're a suspect in the fucking shooting of fucking Drury. I said, fucking pull me out, don't put me in that fucking line-up, mate, right? And I said, well, you can do the best you fucking can, mate, but good luck with it,
yeah.
Right? I've never had nothing to do with it, so I'll see you later. So that was the end of that. Anyway, I went and told Rogerson about it. I said, I was just confronted over this, and this fucking copper, I said, I got a fucking sniff on this. I don't fucking like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened. They thought, we need a scapegoat, right? So I became the scapegoat.
But you weren't known necessarily as a dude that was doing hits, right?
No, not really. I was more...
It would have been just through business as opposed to
mainly I was known through business, but they knew that I wouldn't fuck around with you, right?
Yeah,
I'd cut you in half and fucking, I'd stab you in the fucking heartbeat. But if I had to. But mainly they knew I was a bloke with me fist and me word, but they knew I was a man of me word. But I'd had an incident where the police in 1980 had fucking shot me on a drug deal, and because I threatened an undercover copper, and that stuffed up the green light. So, for me at that time, until I got out, then I went in front of the copper that fucking... set me up, and I said, no hard feelings, mate, I'm over it. Don't know. So that gave me a leap back into it, so I was allowed to still operate and carry on.
So right? how does the fucking, you breezed over getting shot by a cop pretty quick?
Yeah, I just got over it, mate. I just
but like, what was the actual thing? Like, how did you get shot? Where did he fucking shoot you?
I was at North Sydney doing a drug deal, and the bloke I was doing it with happened to be an undercover copper, and I got set up. And anyway, and at the time I was I just finished doing 9 months over a gun, like previous to that, and the coppers had done a bit of a trick on me and I was supposed to walk and get a bond, But they didn't. They got before the wrong magistrate, and the magistrate sentenced me. So they said, just appeal it and you'll get out and you still give us the money that you're going to pay us. And I said, no, stick it up your arse, I'm going to do the 9 months.
Yeah, right.
So I said, fuck you, if you can't organise fucking things properly, then you can get fucked. So I went to the jail for 9 months, and when I come out, I was a bit short of cash, right? So I thought, I fucking need to do something. So I went and fucking organised some drugs and found this fucking bloke one day just through talking to him. So I did a bit of homework on him, followed him home and fucking watched where he went, and fucking I couldn't see him with fucking running around with coppers anywhere. But then I walked into a pub one day in Wallara, and there he was drinking with these cops, and I said, what are you doing with them? They're all fucking drug squad fucking police. He said, I'm just doing fucking business with them, mate, you know. I said, oh, well, that's fucking good if you can do that. He said, oh, I can do it. And he said, anyway, let's finish this deal first. And he said, we'll fucking go anyway. I started to get a bit sniffy about it, but I was sort of a little bit desperate at the time.
Rock in a hard place.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so next fucking minute I fell for the fucking bait. But what I did, I grabbed him, and he was wired up. He had a fucking tape recording going so he could record everything. And I met him and I said, if you fuck me around, if you try and rip me off for this fucking pound of heroin, if you fucking do this or do that, I'll put a bullet right through your fucking head on the spot. Right? You understand? And he said, yeah, mate, no worries. Well, that was the fucking straw that broke the camel's back. The copper said, fuck him, shoot him on sight. So when I come out of the pub, I walked out of this fucking pub in Mount Street, North Sydney, went to the car where I was, sat in the driver's seat, opened up passenger door, he looked in, seen the gear, and he said, I'll just get down to the boot of the car. He walked into the boot of his car to get the money. He's supposed to give me $90,000 at the time. Anyway, as he's walking, as the boot shut, I just see him take off up the road. I went, fuck. Well, I started looking everywhere, and I seen these garbage trucks all block the street, right? And fucking coppers jumped out of the pub, out of everywhere, out of all these buildings in Mount Street. It was lunchtime in North Sydney, like fucking people everywhere. But I went, fuck, there's a big gap here, like what the fuck's going on? Well, I spun my head that way, and as I did, I seen the copper run at me with a shotgun and put it right up in the window, and I threw my hands over my eyes, my face, and I went back. Well, one of the pellets come through my fingers there and lodged in my eye, and the other ones went in the top of my head, right? So I went fucking flying back, and fucking all the clarets coming out, and they hopped in the car, pulled out a gun and stuck it under me and dragged me out onto the street with this gun. So the gun had come out, and all the lunchtime workers to see the gun. So they see
you with a gun.
But my gun I had was sitting in the console of the car, right? Next minute they find another gun. They went, oh, fuck, he's already got a gun, right? So when I said to the bloke, I'll go fucking shoot you if you rob me, well, I fucking meant it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anyway, so next fucking minute I ended up doing business anyway, and I got the Commissioner of Police, Commissioner of the Corrective Services. I got released on a special licence. I did about 18 months jail. But it was a headline fucking job, you know, in the day, you know.
Trying to make a thing, saying they make a big deal, fucking Abo Henry kind of thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so then I started to get a little bit sort of notorious from then, you know what I mean? That's what really put me up on the ladder. Yeah, in the spotlight a lot, which I didn't fucking like, you know. And, you know, I didn't want to walk around and be known as the fucking, you know, this fucking bloke. I'd rather fly under the radar and do what I did and fucking go home fucking peacefully, you know. But, you know, sometimes it just didn't happen that way in this life, unfortunately. But so anyway, so what happened, Flannery and that, they decided, well, fucking, what about Abo? So they had a meeting at fucking Chris Flannery's house one day, and the girlfriend of Ned Smith was there and actually overheard them discussing, the coppers, with Kathy Flannery and Chris Flannery, that I was to be used as the scapegoat, right, for the murder. So that means Rogerson was involved. That means fucking, you know, everyone was involved, and Ned knew about it. Everyone knew about it except fucking me, right? So I'd just left his company. This is late 1984, 85. I said, see you fucking later. I'm out of there. So I started to build my own gang then, right, another gang. And so during all this, I was doing these robberies, fucking Cockatoo Island and fucking, you know, other robberies of the sort, and surviving on that and doing what I did. And then fucking next fucking minute, I just started getting a few sniffs, something wasn't right, you know, and one day I was just sitting there and I heard this gun go off beside my head. That's them psychic things that happened to me.
Yeah, right.
And I was sitting there just up by nodding off. And then next minute I just heard bang. And I fucking sat up like that and I went, what the fuck was that? And I thought, well, fucking next minute the phone rings and it's Ned. There you go, mate, all right, you want to catch up? And I fucking said, I still get some money for you, remember? And I went...
The one that he stole from the pub.
Yeah, right, and I went, yeah, right here. Anyway, I fucking hung up and I thought, I just heard that fucking gunshot. Like, that's what woke me up. This is a fucking morning, you know? So I thought, no, I'm not fucking turning up, right? So there was something definitely going to go down that fucking day, right? So I went, nah, fuck it, I'm not going. So I got in touch with him, rang him back and said, well, I won't be coming in today, I'll fucking catch it. I said, drop it into my place, right, on your way home. No, come and get it now. I said, no, I'm fucking too busy. I said, just drop it to my fucking place. Anyway, other than that, I said, I don't want nothing to do with you. I've already told you that. So you're on your fucking own. Said you were a fucking imbecile. The things you're getting involved in, you know, even though he wasn't part of it. And anyway, so I go up home and next fucking minute he rang me up and he said, listen, Sugar Ray Robinson today, Sugar Ray Robinson, was it Sugar Ray Robinson? And Marvis Marvin Hagler are fighting today for the world title.
Oh, you mean Sugar Ray Leonard?
Sugar Ray Leonard,
yeah.
Sorry.
And
right. So I said, all right, well, we'll go down and watch the fight. I said, give me an opportunity to get some money back that I had a bet with Ned over with another fight, and I lost 5,000 to him. I was filthy on it, right? So I said, I'll bet you 5,000, I'll back Leonard. He said, all right, yeah, you're on. So that was the reason I went down there. So I knew he wanted to talk to me. And he said, listen, I know that you're fucking been right all along. He said, you know, getting involved in this, trying to fucking knock the gang of fucking Lenny's gang and getting involved in this fucking police shooting, I understand. He said, I know where you're coming from. And he said, we should get rid of them. He said, we'll team up and get rid of them. I said, I don't fucking trust you anymore, Ned.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't fucking trust you. And he said, I fucking promise you, mate. He said, you know, if we wanted to get you, could have been God. I said, oh, you fucking think so?
You tried.
Yeah, I said, you've already fucking tried. You set me up. I didn't know that was going to happen. I said, oh, fucking please. Anyway, he said, no matter what's happened, let's fucking, we'll sort it out after. Let's fucking get them together. I said, because let me tell you, at the end of the day, Ned, they're going to kill you anyway.
Yeah. Right?
Because he'll get fucking jealous of you then, right? And I said, so he needs to be exterminated, this fucking grub. He said, all right. And I said, so little did I know they'd already planned this fucking beautiful fucking tactic. So I get down with Ned and we're supposed to go down and he said, now, they've just tried to kill George Freeman, who was one of the old gang. And he said, so they're on the run. So they're hiding out somewhere. He said, I don't know exactly where yet, but one of them's going to turn up this Saturday afternoon at King Arthur's Court in King's Cross, and we'll go up and give them a gun, you know, and some money so they can hide out for a while, you know. And he said, then I'll wait till the next meeting that we have. And he said, and then I'll get the guess to where they are, and so we can fucking, you know, then we'll sort it all out and fucking get rid of them. I said, all right, good. So that was all that was on me fucking mind, the square up, right? I got down there and I fucking fell into the biggest trap. I was dirty. I'm fucking so dirty on myself. I've fallen into it. I didn't have any. I probably did have warnings, but I didn't take fucking notice. I was just focused on fucking squaring up, you know.
And so what was the goal of all that? So if, say you did knock that other gang off,
yeah.
like, so you thought...
Well, he would have got blamed for Drury straight away then.
Yeah,
they would have found some evidence to fucking plant him, right? So
you were trying to clear your name from this cop thing,
yeah, Rob. But not trying to clear it. I thought I was fucking way wide of it. I didn't think I was going to be the scapegoat, you know. But then I started to think, well, how come I'm getting questioned about it and all this fucking sort of shit? Because there was a rumour that travelled around once before that I'd shot this copper down at... you know, because I bashed a lot of coppers over the years as a young bloke and everything, I had the reputation that I could have fitted that bill real easy, you know, that I was the one. There. Yeah, the motive, you know what I mean? So modus operandi. So anyway, so next fucking minute I went down to Sydney with him and met one of the blokes in the fucking gang. I could have just got up and punched his face in, that bloke, that day, because I knew he was part of the fucking plot against me before. But I thought I'll sort it all out when the time comes. I'll get the fucking lot of them, you know. So anyway, we get down to fucking a little pub we had to meet at Oldham, and Ned comes out and he says, I've got the gun here. Next minute there's a phone call. And he walks in, he pretends there's a phone call, or someone come to the door and said, Ned, you want it on the phone. So he leaves the phone. I'm sitting out in the fucking car with the gun, right, in a brown paper bag. I'm sitting there and I'm going, who the fuck is this cunt? Next minute he come outside and I said, what are you doing? He said, listen, he said, the emergency's come up. Roger wants to come over and see me about something. He said, can you drop that up across? I went, oh, fuck, all right. So, it's, you know, it's only fucking 10 minutes away from where I am. So
it's full stitch
So off
up.
I go. And as I'm driving, next minute this panel van come out behind me, you know, somewhere out, just out of fucking Oldham somewhere. And I started to watch it and I could see the curtain was moving in the back and I thought, are they police or fucking what? You know, so I didn't give a fuck. I had a gun on me anyway. And plus this gun, I had this bum bag I got on here. I used to carry my gun in that all the time, you know. And so I just fucking thought, right, I'll go up and give him the gun and fucking go back, right? And just wait for the right time. So I'll get up to this pub, the King Arthur's Court. The car follows me all the way. And at one stage they had to come up real close to me and get close to me. And I looked over and I thought, fuck, I know that bloke's face. And I kept rattling through my brain. I thought that looks like Laurie Prendergast from Melbourne, you know, so who was Chris Flannery's best fucking mate who killed blokes with him. You know, they'd murdered a lot of blokes in Melbourne before, you know. And I said, they killed one bloke in his bathtub in front of him with a fucking machine gun in front of his kids, one of the Kane brothers. So he was acquitted of the charges, but, you know, everyone knew the reputation. So I seen him, I thought, I'm fucking sure that's him. But I'd only met him once, you know. So next minute I go up, get into the pub, King Arthur's, no one's there. And I thought, I'll wait 5 minutes, that's all I'll wait. If no one's here on time, I'm going. And I started to think to myself, this is fucking strange. And anyway, I looked across this big window of the pub. I'm looking across the road on the other side of William Street where it runs down the hill where the tunnel goes underneath that heads towards Double Bay and all that. And I thought, that's that fucking car over there. Next minute a detective car pulled up beside it and the detective got out of the car and started rousing on him, like, you know, looked like he was arguing with them about something. And I thought, fuck, are they cops or... And I thought, well, it's no good me just pissing off. Yeah. This might be a fucking trap, but, you know, as I always do, I like to go into the lion's den. I don't know why. I just thought to myself, if I go up the top of the cross, turn left and go, then whatever was going to occur is not going to occur and I'm going to be none the wiser. Yeah. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go into it, going to go up there, turn around, come down that ramp where they are and head back down William Street and go the same way back home to Oldham to the Lord Wolseley Hotel. So as I'm coming down, cop car goes out in front of me, out comes the panel van behind me. So I'm thinking, are they cops or are they fucking, what are they, you know? I'm still fucking rattling my brain. So I get down, I fucking get around near the museum station where Market Street starts, where David Jones is, and I turn right there. Now, it's Saturday afternoon. There's not a fucking, none of the shops are open in the city in that time of day. It's fucking dead, you know? So here, sitting on the other side of the lights, is the copper with his wheels turned right out on full lock, right, ready to block me. So on the other side of the road, and I went fucking bang. I had a Jaguar that had a V8 motor in it, like a Chev motor, 350 Chev, all souped up. So I flew it across the other side of the road. And there was a bloke fucking on one of them PMG things, you know, sitting there with a cage around him. Well, I'd fucking run the cage straight over, fucking reverse back, went back past him into Elizabeth Street. Well, fucking next minute, I'm in a one-way street and buses are coming fucking past me. So they're out of the car, they've come out of the back of the panel van with balaclavas on. Though I knew they weren't cops. But I thought, well, the cops are with them though. So I went, what the fuck's happening here? So I fucking just reversed all the way up the one-way fucking street, got down. I ended up down the Lord Nelson, went to the public and there who I knew street, gave him the gun and I said, go and hide them downstairs, will you? There's 2 guns there. Go and hide that one, keep that one separate and that one there. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? You know, fucking Ned set me up here. I've been set up. I've definitely been set up. They were trying to knock me. I thought, but was it a hit squad from the cops or... So I sat down and I went down to the fucking... I thought, what'll I do? I thought, no, I'll go back in front, Ned, and I'll keep fucking together until I know the fucking facts, right? So I thought, how the fuck am I going to do that? So I get down there and I thought, I was that fucking dirty inside. I just wanted to fucking shoot him on the spot, you know. But I thought, well, I can't use that fucking gun. There's something about this gun. I kept thinking to myself, you know, kept coming to me, you know.
The one that he gave you?
Yeah, the one that he gave me. And I thought, there's something fucking smelly. So I got there, and when he seen me, he nearly shit himself because he thought, fuck, he wasn't supposed to come back.
Yeah.
Right? And I said, here's the fucking gun. Take it back. I said, take it out of the bag. He took it out of the bag, and I got the fucking thing, and I burnt the fucking bag. Get all the prints off it, right? I just fucking burn it, threw it in the fucking gutter, and I said, something fucking real smelly just happened then, and I think you're fucking behind it, right? And I said, I'm going. When I find out, what are you talking about? I said, I nearly got fucking kidnapped. Something's going to go down. You're involved, right? So I fucking left. I went down the road and I parked my car and hid, and I come back into Bullwarra Road where it was, the hotel. And I sat in these little tenement houses just sitting there watching up the road. Next fucking minute, up pulls the fucking cops.
Panel man. Oh, the cop.
And next minute, Chris Flannery walks down with this other bloke, and I said, that fucking Prendergast. So I knew it was Laurie Prendergast and him. So they were the two that shot the fucking copper. It was actually Laurie Prendergast who shot Michael Drury. They keep on saying it's Chris Flannery. It wasn't. I know how it worked. Prendergast shot him. Flannery and Rogerson were somewhere else so they could back up their story. They were in the bowling club having a drink, right? And Flannery's wife was with them earlier, right? That was to cover their ass over their shooting, so when nothing had come back on them, right? But that was on the night when they actually shot him.
Yeah.
But now, I'd got through the break, well, they would have been fucking running all over the place going, fuck, what are we going to do now? Now he fucking knows, right? We've missed him again, fucking, you know. I kept on getting through the break. Well, the next thing you know, fucking, he's missing. You know, Flannery goes missing. Prendergast went missing. You know, that he disappeared on the 9th of May. So naturally, I was a suspect, of course, and I've been called down to all the inquiries into his death, and just said, well, I've got no fucking idea. Whoever got him will take me out of time.
Yeah, you're kind of glad they fucking got him.
You know what I mean? So, you know, so they think I did it. Well, fucking, I don't give a fuck. Come and charge me, you know. But at the end of the day, he disappeared, and he's 100% dead, as it was his mate Laurie Prendergast, who I've seen, like in my visions, that I have these psychic fucking things.
Yeah.
I've had him appear. Right, that was a fucking bit of a funny story, but he just appeared before me like a visualisation of him, and he had sand all through his eyes, his mouth, and his hair, and he said to me, "You trusted Ned too much."
Really?
He just appeared in a...
When was this?
This only happened probably 6 or 7 months ago.
Really?
I was writing my book. I was writing my second book. It's called From the Inside. I haven't finished it yet. And I wanted to know something. So what I do, I go to bed and I ask. I ask the spirit world. I need to know the answer to this.
Yeah.
So whatever I was asking to happen, right? Need to know what happened on that day when Flannery disappeared and Laurie disappeared and where the fuck they are, right? So
you think they're dead?
Oh, I know they're dead.
Yeah.
You know, I knew 100% they were dead. But I just wanted to know where they were. So at the end of the day, I could say, well, everyone's dead now. We're doing life, locked up.
Yeah, so you're checking off your fucking list of people.
Yeah, I'm checking them off, you know. So,
you ever watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Fucking watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, same thing, is it?
Well, there's a chick, Arya Stark, the main family, and fuck, I won't spoil it for you because you should watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's a little 12-year-old girl, but she creates a list. And you look at this list from this little 12-year-old girl, and she fucking reads it out every night. Yeah. And she just slowly
dismisses them off.
Yeah, just fucking clicking them off the list. Right. So it just made me think of it. Watch Game of Thrones. You fucking love it.
Yeah, well, I actually remember at the end, like, about, you know, when I decided to fucking pull me fucking head in right out of it, about 2010. And then I wrote down a list. I said, if I'm going to have to stay in this fucking life and fucking keep playing this fucking way, then I've got to kill this bloke, this bloke, this bloke. And I started writing them off, writing this fucking list down, and I went, fuck, it's just too big. You know, I just can't do it. And if I just cut one head off, it's not good enough. I need to fucking chop a few heads off the snakes, you know. So I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to walk away. So I just walked out of the fucking life. That was 2010. That was the last attempt I had in my life in 2010. That was at West Pennant Hills when about 10 of them turned up to kill me. And I mean 10, because they got the shit so everyone kept missing me. So they said, fuck him, we're going to make sure he goes tonight. There's a fucking big group of 10. So they sent this European gang to fucking try and kill me. And
what kind of European, like Russians?
They were like Maltese, I believe.
Yeah, right.
All right. So
is there a bikie gang that's around Maltese?
No, there could be.
Yeah,
not
important.
Anyway, they started sniffing around, and I started getting their number plates and finding out where they lived. They kept on following me, and I started to get these number plates. So I still had an inroad into people in the RTA and the NRMA, and I could find out addresses. So I got these addresses and led to a big factory somewhere. I won't give it away where it was. I'd be giving up the blokes as much as I should, but I wouldn't. Anyway, so next fucking minute I went, I sent them a fax straight through, and I said, listen, if I see you around my place again, these are your car numbers, all your rego numbers, right? It's already gone over my telephone line, right, this fax. I said, keep the fuck away from me. You've been hired by a police informant, right? Check him out before you fucking take me out of play, mate, right? Or I'll fucking take you out. So I said, now that's the last warning I'll give you. So next minute, because I did it off the fax line, the phone rang. And I picked it up and it's fucking him. It's one of the main blokes. And I said, listen, mate, pull your fucking head in what you're doing. He said, oh, that's not fucking me. I said, listen, you just bought a new car 2 days ago, mate.
Yeah, I know it's you.
And here's the number plate. And I read it out to him over the fucking phone, right? I said, I'm fucking telling you that's the only warning you'll fucking get, mate. The next fucking minute, I go up there one night and they fucking pull up, 2 of them. This was the first attempt out of this crew. And they came up the road. Now, this informer now that has hired, who used to run with Ned, is now working in alliance with the Australian Crime Commission as a police informant, right? And he's got a copper called Mark Standen, who's actually in prison serving 16 years for importing pseudoephedrine. He was doing homework for this criminal, finding out where I worked, where I lived, where I was going. They were doing all the surveillance to pass it on to him, so he didn't have to be in the way, right? So I'd spring him. So he thought, if I thought it was just the police, well, bad luck. You know what I mean? But it was actually him using his connection.
The cops,
using the cops to do the fucking thing. So they knew that, the Australian Crime Commission knew that there was a fucking setup on me, And so they came past me place one morning and I went out for a fucking walk, as I always do every morning. I'm checking out the area. Next minute I seen this copper shealer run past me that I'd seen early in the morning with this other detective. And she was in a trotting gear now, like a jogging gear. And she ran past me and waved at me. And I thought, well, here you go, love. And I thought, she's the fucking copper. Anyway, she come back past me and she said, be aware, will you? Please be aware. I said, what are you talking about, love? She said, I can't tell you anymore, just be on guard. And just kept going, right? And I went, fuck me, right? So I said, this fucking skunk. I knew it was him. He's working with the coppers. They're the ones doing the surveillance for him, right? So next fucking minute up pulls his car. And I was standing at the front of my house talking to a bloke, and but it was pitch black. There was no street light at the front of my house. And I went, fuck, who were these blokes? So next time I see him get out with a balaclava, so I said to me, mate, go inside and get me gun, will you? So he bolts inside, gets a gun, comes outside, and then I see the bloke start to walk up the street. So next minute my dog goes to run out and so I pulled it back in by its back legs. Well, they already saw it. So next minute they knew I was sitting there waiting for them, so they took off.
So they've seen the dog run out and you've stopped it.
So I unloaded about 5 shots at the car, and then they got out of the area, right? And don't even know if I hit the car or I'm fucking sure I did. So next fucking minute they said, well, fucking, we're going in a big crew. So they brought a big crew. And, I know who they are. But, they were only operating under their own fucking, it's just business. I understand the business of the underworld, the organised crime. So, I'm quite happy with it. I don't give a fuck where it sits with me. But, the main scumbag was the fucking little informants, him and fucking Ned. They were my main problems. And but by this time, Ned was already fucking banging gone, he was fucking doing life. So the little clone thought he'd take over. And he wanted me out of the way, desperately, because he knew that he'd fucking miss me while I was on works release. He'd fucking miss me every other time.
So it was just out of ego, because you're out of business by this point, right?
Oh, no, I'm not out of business. I'm back in business. But I'm playing with a different crew.
Yeah.
I'm playing with real fucking staunch, solid blokes, I run with a bloke called Stan the Man Smith, who was he'd probably killed 15. I ran with him and some other people. And he died about 2010. And it took him 12 months to come back and they couldn't still find out how he died. So he just, he used to take chemicals and he'd experiment with stuff, with getting rid of cholesterol, and he was taking raw chlorine and fucking... Oh, really? Oh, yeah, he did everything. He was like a mad professor, he was.
Yeah, right.
Very smart and intelligent man, a dangerous motherfucker. But one of my best mates. And, I even said to him, I said, 10 come to the house. He couldn't believe it. Fucking 10? What's wrong with these fools? Like, don't they know how to
Surely
just
10 people can whack you.
One bloke can go and just fucking finish you off.
Yeah.
Not bring a fucking team of them. I was just grateful they didn't spray up the house, and fucking do all that fucking cowardly shit,
Yeah.
But anyway, I just said in the end when I wrote down the list, I said, fuck that. There's too many of them. About time I pulled the fucking plug.
So did you ever have, like, when you were deep in it, at your deepest point, was there ever like an end game to it where you were like, I want to make this much or do this much, or does it just become a lifestyle?
No, it just becomes a lifestyle, mate. You don't have an end, I mean, one of them chances there, I said I might pull out and then I'll go into this business and I'll do this. I always had a good head for business and stuff that I got involved in. I've been a commodity broker and worked on oil and gold and fucking jet fuel and all sorts of stuff like that. But, nothing was the adrenaline that was.
Yeah,
that life was the adrenaline and I lived off it. And now I don't have it today.
So do you think that, like... So let's say that you just create a baseline.
Yep.
So for me, my baseline of if I see some heavy shit go down in what would be my fucking world is heavy shit is like a couple dudes punching on and blah 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 and rattles me and that's that fucking adrenaline thing, right? But if you see that same thing, it's not even going to register.
No.
Your baseline is so much further down the track.
Oh yeah, fucking oath.
So do you think that there's like this thing that compels you because you just can't even get a normal kick? You can't get a kick in the way that normal people can.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to go to those extreme levels just to find what a normal person could get from anything.
I think what they call I went to a bloke who used to do this thing called NET, which is like diffusing you from, what they call today post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
And I started to have a few spin outs one day. And I went, fucking, that's not me,
So what was this NET?
NET is the thing that they invented for taking people who had been in the Vietnam War and de-stressing them.
Yeah, right. So was it a chemical that they were injecting?
No, it works off your mind, your consciousness. And what they do, he raises your arm and he asks you certain questions about certain things and events in your life. When was the first time you experienced violence? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How old were you? 7, 8, 9, 10. Your arm drops. He just walks away and says, what happened to you at 10?
Yeah, right.
And you go, oh, fuck, that happened, right? So it works off your subconscious, right? So it's an incredible fucking thing, right? So I went there and he said, mate, you're just having a fucking... Yeah, that's what it is. He said, you've been so hardwired all your life.
Yeah.
And now you're wanting to pull away... And it's fucking affecting you, because I'm trying to fucking lead normal fucking life, doing fucking brokering stuff, and I was involved in stock market shit, and I'm trying to do all that in between still dodging humans, and staying afloat and doing my homework on them, trying to trap them, which I did. I chased them and tried to fucking knock them. Don't worry about that, So, in between all that, I'm trying to be normal and doing deals with fucking all sorts of people in life, right? and I started to have these, getting in a depressed state.
Yeah, right.
I was getting depressed and when I went to this bloke, he said, mate, fuck, because he put you on a computer, and it went up on this big Richter scale fucking thing, and he said, fuck, he said, it's like you've already been in the war, mate, and even though he said you haven't been to Vietnam. I said, no, I actually volunteered for Vietnam. They knocked me back because of my violence record.
Really?
Can you believe that? So that's another story. But anyway, he said, mate, you've been in a... So I had to tell him a little bit about myself. I said, this is what I've done all my life. And he said, well, this is what it is, mate. You've been so hardwired all your life to fucking what you've seen, what you fucking do. Now you're not doing it. Your fucking body and your fucking mind's going into a fucking different fucking phase, and it's coming back and affecting you in the depression wise. So I went to see him for about 3 months, I reckon. 3 months. I was as good as gold and never had a fucking another bad day after it.
Yeah, right.
No, he was very good.
So what kind of headspace did you get in then to get over that, like, I guess come to terms with like a normal life?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't. It's a very hard question to answer, mate. I just tried to just keep out of it, then every now and then go down and see mates. I've still got to do it today. I've got to go down and see blokes that I run with and, keep in touch with the old school. Because the blokes that I drink with today are all square edge. They're blokes that don't have, they're not gangsters and things like that. So the conversations have changed so much from my original fucking, and it's very hard. And then people know about you and they fucking question you.
Treat you different.
Yeah,
and
they question you on different things and fucking drives you mad sometimes. But most of the time I just fucking know, I let them know the truth and the facts,
Yeah, I mean,
of things that I can, and there's things I can't, of course.
Yeah.
Because, that life delved down to the lowest of the lows that you could ever go to, And but I can gratefully say, and I think that's why I get helped, in reality. I think I've had so many warnings in my life because I believe in this higher power. I believe in these warnings that I get is not coming from fucking nowhere. It's what I believe and it's what I have fucking faith in. So I believe that I've done the right thing. I don't look back with anything with one regret. The only thing I regretted was that I stabbed this police prosecutor, Malcolm Spence. Because I've got 8 years fucking prison over it, and I'm lucky that they knew he was corrupt. And because otherwise I would have got a life sentence for it, for attempting to kill a police officer. So
how hard were those 8 years to do?
Well, the 2.5 years I spent in the solitary confinement was the hardest of it.
Fuck, yeah, that blows my mind that you can be
the
in
rest
there.
of it was a breeze, but I just get through it, And there was plenty of people running around at the time saying things like, "Oh, he was involved in that. Oh, okay, he must be a fucking informant or something." You know what I mean? Well, in which case I wasn't. I mean, there's a book out that's called Smack Express that was written by Clive Small, who was the Assistant Commissioner of Police many years ago, and now an author, crime author. And I speak to him sometimes about things. But he's, what was I going to say about him?
People were thinking you're an informant.
Yeah, so because of this ICAC investigation. But the facts were that I never did. I've never ever helped the police in any way. If a policeman got up in the court and fabricated me in an armed robbery, of which they've done, to try and set me up for the robbery, right, which I may have done, but I've got up and fucking verbaled them back. If they can't call that informant, that's fucking doing the best you can against the fucking authorities.
Yeah,
know what I mean? And that's all I've ever done. I would never allow myself to fucking give anyone up. It's not my go, so.
When you were in that stage of people trying to fucking whack you and going through all that shit, was it hard just generally to sleep at night? Or was it just...
slept like a baby.
Was it just the ecosystem? Was that your comfort zone in a way?
Yeah, I slept like a baby, mate, in those days. You know what I mean? Unless I knew someone was sniffing around the house or... Yeah,
like there's a reason to be up.
If I had a reason for that, then I'd sit up deliberately and wait, And there was many times I'd sneak out at, 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning and go and do my own surveillance, and then I'd know where they were, what they were doing, and I thought, if they have another go, and they're going. Like one bloke I traced down to a gymnasium There was this bloke I called the clone, referred to as the clone.
Yeah, yep.
And I trapped him in a gymnasium one morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, training, sparring with this other bloke who was with him that let go at me when I was on works release, who tried to murder me. So I sprung him at this boxing gymnasium over at near Moore Park in Sydney. So I went there and I knew the owner of the place, and I got a little key made. Got another key made, slipped into the door, made sure it fucking slipped in and fucking opened. I said, next time he's training and he's in there and he's got the boxing gloves on, they're sparring around the ring, well, I'm going to walk in and fucking kill the pair of them, you know. So I got there, and one day I'm doing the surveillance. I've got a gun on me. I'm doing the surveillance, but something about it, I seen him coming in the driveway, and I put my head down. And I think he must have seen me head move. He was pretty alert, the bloke, you know. I can't say that he was a dumb fuck, because he wasn't. But he came up and he came around this side of the car, so I'm laying down this way, you know. And I've got the gun in my ear, and I thought, if you come to the car, I'm going to fucking pop your ear, and I don't have any choice. And he's not going to get out unarmed. Now, he had a brand new big Mercedes-Benz anyway. He went around behind me and then pulled up on this side, and I went, fuck it, I'll get him now. So I just fucking opened up the fucking door and fucking whack at the fucking car. Well, he hit this speed bump in the Mercedes, and so it either hit the boot of the car or fucking went down nitties, you know, or it fucking went under the car, the fucking shots, right, because he fucking hit it with so much force that the fucking car leaped, right? So fucking where I was aiming at the back of his fucking head, going down the back of the fucking thing, never even fucking looked like getting him. And he screamed out of this place, out into the fucking traffic and gone, you know. So next fucking minute, Roger Rogerson turns up on my doorstep not on my doorstep, I was at Balmain one day with Stan Smith, who they call Stan the Man. And he pulled up and he said, Abo, how you going? He said, listen, I'm bringing a peace offering from the gang. And I said, peace offering? He said, yeah. He said, you know, we're even now. Like he said, you know, you had a crack at him the other day and he's had a crack at you, but we're even. I said, no, tell him to get fucked. We're not fucking even, mate. You know, I could have said yes, of course, and then he would have still been trying to do it anyway. Yeah. It was never going to be over until it was fucking over. Now, in the end, I think he was that embarrassed. I embarrassed him that much by all the attempts that they put on me life, at least 6 times, you know, just them ones. Prior to that, I'd had 14 attempts, you know, up till 2006, you know, and then these last few attempts on my life made up about the 20 attempts on my life that they've tried. Yeah. You know, tried to trap me everywhere I walked, and then just when they thought they'd have me, I'd turn off and go another way. You know what I mean? I kept on stuffing up every move they made. And one day I was walking down the back of West Pennant Hills, and there was a bloke leaning against a big LTD car, and I knew these blokes were involved in a lot of businesses. He's leaning against this big stretched out limo. He said he was just leaning against the boot, and what he meant to say was, I'm just wasting my time, mate, you know what it's like? Leaning on the car, having a break, you know what I mean? That's what he tried to get across, but he said, just doing me time, mate, you know what it's like.
Yeah, so you knew he was a criminal.
And I just stopped and I looked at him and I said, funny choice of words for a hire car driver, mate. Yeah. Right, just doing time, are you? I said, mate, I'm a fucking wake up to you, just want to pull your fucking heads in.
No
right?
Shit.
Right?
Even to me, I'm just going, you don't fucking
And I was only
that.
100 yards away from where I was going to walk.
Yeah.
And that was across this little creek bed, but I'd sprung them there. I'd sprung the car on the opposite side, and there was only one way out of the area I worked in, lived in. There was only one area. You come in a certain road, you can only go out a certain road. Yeah. Right? So I knew that they were fucked. So they parked the car on the other side and they were waiting in that creek bed for me. Fuck. You know? So I went the street before it and went to the left and went the other way. Right? So every time they fucking tried to get me, I got them. Or next minute I'd turn up and I'd just start taking photographs of them. Yeah. Right? In the cars, and they'd fucking take off. You know what I mean? So I knew all their cars, I knew all their movements. And in the end, I just got a message out to them and I just said, listen, the bloke you're working for works for the fucking crime commission. He's a fucking dog. Yeah. You know? So I said, you know, if you keep coming, well, it'll fucking keep happening. Yeah. You know? And in the end, I was fucking, you know, look, that close that many times to just letting fucking go. You know? And I had the opportunity with the blokes that I ran with, like Stan the Man Smith, who killed 15 blokes before me, you know. what I mean before me. I mean
before he
in
hooked up
his
with
era,
you,
in his era coming up through and he was a very feared man, the Sydney organised crime scene, and he gave me advice. He said this and that, but I said to him one day, I said, I've never asked you for help. I'm not asking none of you for help. This is my war, right? Started because of me before I run with you, so it's got nothing to do with business. So I just handle it. But when I went down there and I told him 10 blokes turned up, he was fucking just so fucking flabbergasted. He nearly thought that I was fucking dreaming in Alice in Wonderland or something, that I was making these things up. And I said, next time I'm with my daughter will tell you what happened, mate.
Yeah,
she was in the room with me.
There.
She was there, right? So next time I got a chance, I said, tell him what happened that night. So we told him, and he went, fuck.
We didn't fully get done. We got to where you grabbed the dog. Or was that so you shot the car up and then they pissed off?
Yeah, they pissed off.
That was with the small crew, and then the 10...
Yeah, but they went back. They were of a bigger crew.
Yeah, and
then
the
they
10
turned up. The 10
up.
of them turned up. They had Ugg boots on and everything so they could sneak around on the grass and not make noises and, I mean, they'd done this before. There was no, but what I've heard, some of them had fought overseas in wars and, you know what I mean? So, they were pretty professional blokes. It wasn't that they were dumb. I was just very good and aware at staying alive.
So you spoke about this a tiny bit before the podcast, but so tell how you ended up actually foiling their plan. You made it seem like
that night especially, that night when they came in the big group, I was actually standing out the front of the house when one of them decided to sneak out. I seen this bloke, big, well-built bloke, just, looked like he'd just got out of prison or something and all buffed up, He bolted across the road to slip into the bush that was beside my place because what they were going to do, they knew my car was bulletproof, right? Because all of the windows in my car were bulletproof of the fucking tow. They're going to wait till I pulled up. And then as I got out of the car, they're going to fucking come out of the bushes and fucking kill me before I got the front door. Right, so that was their fucking plan of attack. It was the only plan they had, because it was the only way they could have fucking done it. So next fucking minute, this bloke runs across the road and comes out of a house, thinks that I'm not there because there's no street light out the front of my house. It's pitch black. Well, next minute he springs me, turns around on a sixpence and bolted down the fucking street, right? And I'm yelling out to him, come back, you fucking dog, you fucking filthy thing, So next fucking minute, he's got down around the corner. He said, "Oh, this fucking man, he's fucking home. He's not fucking out in the car." So I had to ring up my wife and say, "Listen, don't come home until I tell you," right? Because she was driving my car. I didn't want her opening the car. The door next minute, she's dead because then I would have fucking killed 20.
Yeah.
I would have fucking wiped out the whole fucking lot of them. So next fucking minute, she went into panic mode. I said, "It's all right. Lauren's here. She's safe. Everything's all right. Just fucking do what I'm telling you, all right?" Anyway, next fucking minute I'm up. Well, you know how noise travels of a night.
Yeah.
You can say something in the street the dead of night and you can fucking hear it for fucking 200 yards. So what I did, I had all my bed covered in fucking guns. I had all my fucking guns. I had armour lights. I had fucking machine gun. I had a fucking 2-hand guns, 9mm guns. And next fucking minute, next minute I'm looking at all these blokes. I said, all these blokes got Ugg boots on. These are pros here, boy. They're sneaking around all over the joint, trying to put themselves into the neighbours' houses and getting us around. And right, so what I did, I got up and I opened up the window, the bay windows. I was upstairs in the double-storey house, and I went, "Psst, Jeff, get down, put your head down. Peter, get your head down. Wait till they come in the front yard. Don't fucking shoot until I give you the order." Well, next fucking minute, you could see the fucking pricks. They'd heard it like as fucking loud as, and I wanted them to, and they went fucking whoosh. Well, you could hear their cars up the road taking off from where they had their cars parked, Fucking, they were humming, and I knew they were the fucking cars that I'd seen. They were all holding Monaros, right? And they were the brand new ones. If they went fucking screamed off up the fucking road, gone. Right? Last time I ever fucking saw them.
That's amazing.
So, it worked like a fucking charm.
What was it like? You're married and got kids.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you get a woman to come into
mate?
this
I tell you
whole
what, she's a
fold?
strong lady, mate.
Fuck. How did that all go down,
mate? I met her when I was a young bloke running around. I just got out of prison. It's 1971, and I had a a child to another woman at the time who was a diabetic, and she was trying to, still make contact with me and all that, but I was a bit dirty on it because she'd been playing up with other blokes while I was away. So, my loyalty's fucking so strong, you know what I mean? So I just went, no, fuck it, that's it. So I said, I brassed her. But I said, as long as I can still come and see me child. And I ran into this lady, Leslie, who ended up marrying. I've been married for 44 years. And in that time, mate, she's lived through it all, seen the fucking...
She's seen some shit.
Not seen so much, but she knew.
Yeah.
She knew, and she knew certain things had happened. She'd see an armoured van be robbed on TV or something like that, and she'd be waiting to see that, I was safe, that I wasn't shot fucking dead. I mean,
yeah.
She wasn't silly. Not that I got home and told her what I did, because I fucking didn't. And the less she knew, the fucking better.
Yeah,
and safer she always was. So, and I made it a point never to talk in my house, never to talk in my car, never to talk near a telephone, all of those things, If I was doing crime, there was no way in the world a telephone was on me, and if anyone had one, they may as well have a microphone on them.
Yeah.
And that's how I treated it. And if they ever had one on them, well, they'd get a terrible fucking hiding off me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I wasn't backward and coming forward in fucking dishing out violence if I had to, but I did it for the strictest of reasons and for fucking, and as the last resort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's just how I fucking lived, mate. And, but I'd come home and I'd go to Sydney for 4 days. I lived up the coast, and I come up there to visit Ned Smith one day. He lived up the coast. And so I drove up there one day to see him. I thought, fuck, this is nice up here. So, what a good place to get away from. From Sydney doing what I do and raising my kids here instead of down in Sydney, where everyone knows me and talks about me, right? So I came up here in 84, and I moved into the area, and we stayed there until 97, until I had to go back to Sydney. When I got out of prison in 97 after the stabbing of the police prosecutor, I had to go back because they'd already tried to kill me, and I said, I've got to go back, and it's no good me living up here, and fucking I need to be down there. So it's either you come with me or I'm going to have to go on my own for fucking months and get this fucking sorted,
Yeah.
So we all ended up all in Sydney again until about 2006, and then I said, that's it, I'm fucking moving out. We'll move up the coast.
Was she shocked when you stabbed the copper? Or did she know, like...
Oh, she knew that I was pretty, but she knew what I was like and cranky, and I was out of school that night. I was fucking full of fucking piss and wine, and was right near Christmas.
Because it was like an impulse thing from what I take, is that he was talking shit. And then
he'd run around and claim that I'd informed on him to the internal affairs branch. Well, as I said, my reputation, everything meant everything to me in the underworld, No one run around fucking calling me a fucking police dog, because I'd fucking just chop them up. And, because number one, it was never true. So when he made this accusation, I said, are you fucking kidding? He said, oh, well, Ned told me you do. I said, and you'd believe that big fucking idiot. I said, if you're fucking kidding anyway. I said, I'm going to give you today because you're on the fucking piss to fucking think about it. So I gave him a few days, and then I heard him saying, I had a go at him and he shit himself and all these sort of stupid things. Well, brooded on my mind, and I went, fuck him, I'm going to get him. And 2 coppers I was drinking with that day that I had on me payroll, they said, Abo, fucking leave him alone, mate. I said, no, I'm going to flog him. Right? Well, I went there, I wanted to flog him because he always a big mouth and thought he could fucking fight. So when I dragged him out of the fucking pub at the Lord Wolseley Hotel, he said, I don't want to fucking talk business tonight. I said, there's no fucking business. We're going around the fucking corner. There's not business tonight. There's no money exchanging hands here, buddy. Just fists. Get around here, you fucking dog. So the fool followed me out, We're right around into the back lane, and I just went bang, left hooked him, dropped him like a fucking tack. And then he got up and then he started to fucking do a plead with me. Oh, Abo, I'm sorry. I fucking didn't mean it. I said, you've insulted my fucking intelligence, you fucking dog. I said, and you run around telling people I'll fucking give you up. So next minute I just produced a knife, just pulled it straight out of my pocket and fucking just jammed him in the guts. And then he went down, and as he got down on the ground, I fucking plunged it into his neck. You know, well, luckily for him, I just missed the jugular. Otherwise, he would have been a fucking loaf of bread, you know, meaning dead.
Yeah.
So, as it turned out, he went down to the hospital. He didn't even know he'd been stabbed because he had a polo neck jumper on that was up here like this. But he just felt weak. He got down to the hospital. He said, I just feel weak. And I lifted him up and I said, because you've been fucking stabbed. Well, when he realised he'd been stabbed and had his throat cut, he fucking collapsed and fainted. You know? I run into him not long ago. Actually, I walked into a pub in Piermont.
No shit.
Yeah, and next minute he took off out the fucking door. And I yelled out, get over it.
Are you fucking
said,
serious?
Get over it. Yeah, I said, I've got over it. Get over it.
Well, you're the one that had to fucking do the time.
Fucking imbecile. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you would have shut your mouth in the first place, no, it would have happened. You know, and I would have still been there and doing me thing and would have had a big crew together. You know, still probably.
Do you think that it ever was going to come unstuck for you, or do you think you could have been smart enough? Because
no, I was.
The times,
enough, I think.
The times have changed though, like especially now, and you know.
Yeah, but I grew up with all that stuff, see. So I grew up with it with every change I was growing up with, and where there's a will, there's a way. You know, I mean, it's like going to the other. You know, when you can even rob vans today, or you know, you just got to do it in the right area. But you've got to be careful when you do your homework, your surveillance. You know, because that's the time you can bring yourself unstuck. It's like them blokes in London who dug under the vault, the old gang. The youngest one was about 68, you know, and they got down, but prior to them stealing the vault and getting all the money that they got, which they got away with until they went back on the surveillance tapes, and he was one of the gang driving around the fucking corner all the time in his fucking Mercedes Benz. Well, they put him down to the part of the London underworld, and down they all got jailed. Yeah, you know, all in their fucking 60s and 70 years of age. You know, but they were still scallywags, wanted to have a little fucking bit of a crack, but they should have been a bit smarter with the surveillance and seen, you know, what's up in the air. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's very hard today. It is, you know, but you can still fucking get around it, of course. You know, you just got to find the right area to do your business in. Yeah. You know, and that's what it boils down to. Or, you know, if I had to travel somewhere, sometimes if I'd go to Sydney so I didn't get spotted, you know, I'd go in the boot of a car or the back of someone's truck. You know, and I'd go to a certain location and get picked up there and then fucking, you know, and I'd have masks and wigs and, you know, I never went when I was doing stuff. I didn't use balaclavas. I didn't need them. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? What do you make of the organised crime world today? Like, because it's a lot. It's in chaos, mate. It's a lot of bikies and fucking. There's a lot of immigrants and shit like that. It's what the coppers are trying to call organised crime. I mean, you know, as I know a heap of bikies, mate. You know, and you know, 10 or 20 of them might fucking run around doing plenty, and the rest fucking just want to ride bikes and fucking, you know. They might get into brawls and carry on like that, but it's what it is. The police are worried about numbers. It's the numbers in these gangs. You know, like take the rebels. They had, I think, 3,500 members all over Australia or something. I mean, you know, I think the New South Wales Police Force fucking top odds is about 5,000, isn't it? Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So that they were worried about numbers. That's what scared them. But when those silly drive-bys started happening, which started through fucking Middle Eastern gangs. Yeah, I was going to say, it's a lot of immigrants, right, to bring in that different culture. That's their culture that they come from, so they use it here. So, you know, and then unfortunately, some of the Australians started fucking doing it too. Well, it's fucking, you know, it's a fucking shit go. It's a cowardly go, and, you know, and kids are going to die. There'll be fucking kids that die over this, you know. They'll just be in the way and get fucking blasted and shot. You know, I mean, you go around, like as I said before, if you want to intimidate someone, you wait for them to fucking put the garbage bin out and fucking put them in the fucking thing and take them for a drive. Yeah. You know, and then, you know, if you don't want to fucking kill them, but you want your fucking money, then fucking take them out to a hole that's already dug, you know, and throw them in it. Let them think that you're going to start burying them alive, you know, or fucking tie them to a fucking ant's nest or something. That's how you intimidate them. So that you think there's no honour in it these days? Like, would you? I'm sure there's blokes with honour in it, but it's a different world, mate, different time. And, you know, look, I know a lot of the bikie blokes. I know blokes outside the bikies that are in crime. But what they didn't have was what we had. Like, when I talk about organised crime, if you look back in the history of the whole of Australian criminal history, there's only ever been 3 or 4 gangs that have ever had the real organised power. And that's having the police on site like we had. Magistrates, judges, crooked fucking lawyers, crooked fucking everyone. It's a whole conglomerate of fucking people that make up that fucking giant octopus that I say. You know, the giant octopus is the think tank, the head of the organised crime. The tentacle's what stretches out into every area of fucking society, and the suckers are what gains our information, where we can do a robbery, the combination of a lock, the combination of, you know, the fucking people you need, pedophile fucking judges you can get some information on, and then let them know when you've got someone who's fronting up before them. Otherwise, you know, so they're the things that organised crime does. That's what we did. You know, we fucking gathered in all that we could. But, you know, and like after I left Ned's gang, I think I had more success in doing everything than I ever had. You know what I mean? Because I was my own man. I didn't have to fucking be concerned about him and his coppers. I had me fucking own. And I knew in my own fucking heart I wasn't telling to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I had a lot of pull and I could get a lot of people out of trouble. You know, they'd come and see me, bikie blokes would come and see me and they'd say, can you find out if so-and-so's an informant? You know, and I'd go and get the fucking proof on that and show them and charge them a fee for it and fucking give the coppers some and me some, and you know what I mean? I mean, that's how I operated.
Did you ever think about what your life would have looked like without crime?
No.
Because, I mean, like, you always think about, like, I think that there's a real fine line between successful people and criminals.
Bloody oath. Because
to be successful, like, I got friends that are doing jail time now that are smart motherfuckers, and they could be doing legitimate things.
That's right.
But I think that there's a certain way that you can intellectualize fucked up things when you're a smart person to make shit okay that in the eyes of the law isn't okay. You can intellectualize, and I mean, I'm sure you've probably done that as well, and create your own rules.
That comes in the same thing as I said I was doing before, like commodity broking. I mean, there's that many crooks in that you wouldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Especially the Russians, they're big in it.
And like, I guess that's the thing too, man. Like, how many fucking people are legally being criminals? There's a lot of like, look at the people that
the taxation department down, mate.
Fucking
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you look at what happened with like the housing crisis in 2008 in the US. They're fucking crooks, man.
Fucking crooks, all right.
Full-blown fucking crooks. And they just chose to do it.
Ripping off everyone, knowing full well it was going to collapse.
And, you know, you get all of those organisations that are like giving people fucking loans. Credit cards are as crooked as it gets. You know, but it's there's legal ways to fuck people.
Oh,
really.
Bend them over.
Yeah.
Make the people work for you. You know what I mean?
And you know, I guess you can just like steal people's lives in that sense. So I guess like, I don't know, like there definitely is to me. If what I'm trying to say is, if you can be a successful criminal, you could be successful in business, in anything.
In anything. Like, there's no doubt about that. You know, I think I missed me calling in a lot of things. You know.
What would you have done?
I would have been involved in something. I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth, but I don't know. I've always had that adventurous fucking spirit in me, you know. I mean, I've even searched for gold. Me and fucking Stan Smith in New Guinea, and
yeah, right.
You know, I've done things like that where we heard that the Indian Maru was fucking loaded with fucking tons of gold years ago that was fucking covered over as a hospital ship during the war, and that's how they smuggled the gold out of fucking the Philippines, you know. And we did a lot of homework on that, and fucking went to New Guinea, fucking had fucking meetings with fucking President Samari, fucking had him on side. He was also involved at one stage with with a drug investigation that the police were doing on us, and they called it the Pelair Inquiry. They called it the Pelair Inquiry because of the aeroplane that was being used to go fly from New Guinea to Australia and fucking bring all this heroin back. So one day the feds pounced on the plane, and they thought we were all attached to it, and so naturally they turned up and grabbed hold of the plane, and President Samari turned up and said, "You can't fucking unload you can't touch anything here. It's not federal land until the end of this fucking strip here, mate."
Yeah, right.
So next minute the plane fucking took off, and unfortunately had to, I guess, dump what it had if someone was involved in drugs. So, it was all cleaned out and fucking tested, we already had a connection there with him. So when we went to these meetings with this, trying to find this gold, we said we believe there's gold there. We'll fucking transport it from here to fucking wherever it was going to go, and we're going to use one of the biggest aircraft carriers, right? Because what they can do is take off in a short airstrip. There's a certain name for the plane, or forget the name of them now. Real big and round they are, big troop carriers they are.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, because they can take off with X amount of ton on, So we started doing discoveries there. We flew over helicopters with gold fucking finders on it. Were costing us a fortune a day to do. And these fucking things are going off the Richter scale. So anyway, during the course of looking at this, I went to a psychic lady. You wouldn't fucking believe it. I was in Manly one day, and I said I'd just seen this psychic shield. I was waiting for someone to turn up, and I thought, fucking, I'm going to go in here. They can wait for me. So I went and had a chat to the shielder who did like tarot cards. So when I went up there, I was a bit dirty. She only did the card, but next fucking minute she's drawing pictures of these huts, right? She said, there's all these huts and there's this river. She said, but you're looking in the wrong place. She said, there's a little island here, just off where you're looking at. She said, look there. That's where I think it is. Well, you wouldn't fucking believe it. About 3 months later, I didn't take too much notice of it, but 3 months later, there was a little clip in the paper that said they found 10 tonne, right, on this tiny little island. Well, next fucking minute, people were sniffing around it everywhere, all the papers, and it just shut up shop. And they said, no, it was a false alarm.
Really?
Right? So I still believe that the Chinaman I sent there to do the business all the time, who did the business and the contracts was involved, and he'd already got that offshore. That's what I believe. So I believe we got handled big time, but never been able to see the bloke since, so.
Fucking hell.
Wouldn't even know where to find him. He's probably married to a jungle bunny. And
he fucking out, son.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I've been involved in everything, so I'm sure I would have been involved in something that was sneaky or something where the folding cash was big.
Yeah.
So either through the commodity broking or when you do some of that commodity stuff, mate, you're talking
money.
In fucking half a fucking billion and fucking it's fucking ridiculous, the fucking amounts. But the people involved were lucky that we had so many connections. And, I remember once we were doing business with these Russians and a woman and a man in a well-known solicitor's office in Sydney. Anyway, we got his name and details and everything, and I pretended to go outside for a smoke, and then I passed on the information to a bloke down in Melbourne, and he ran it through his mate in Interpol and come back and he said, no, you're dealing with the Russian mafia, mate. He said they're only out to con you to try and get the numbers that are stamped on each block of the gold. Now, that doesn't happen till a long way down the track when you're doing gold commodity stuff.
Yeah, right.
There's a certain way it works. It goes down step by step by step by step. In the end, like we got two blokes to meet. This after about 6 months of friggin' getting this massive gold fucking deal to go down. It was worth like 60 million to me in cash, right? And that was just me, right? So there was 4 of us involved, right? So next fucking minute, they walk into the room to meet each other. After all this time, it's just bang, bang, bang. They walked in, he said, I know, do business with that cunt. He's a fucking dog. He didn't like him. I said, mate, you're fucking kidding, aren't you? We waited fucking 6 months to get there. Can't you fucking pal us up and do the deal? Well, if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. He walked away. He said, I'd rather fucking throw it away. Well, fucking throw it this way, mate.
Yeah, throw it, yeah.
So anyway, in the end, it was one of them real stressful fucking things where you're up all night on fucking, connect calls to everyone, and there's 4 of yous on the line and you're listening in and drove me mad.
Hard way to make 60
hard way to make it. I said I'd rather fucking get back into the fucking saddle and go and fucking knock off some
shit, yeah.
Fucking rob some fucking payrolls.
What do you reckon you are into the psychic stuff?
I don't know, mate. I think it was just part of me. It was just born into me, I think. My mother was like it. And
what are you looking for in it, though?
I don't know what I'm looking for.
Because I mean, like, and just to, I guess, for the other side of the coin, like, I've never had fucking one thought of going to a psychic ever in my life, and it's not. I'm not discrediting it. I'm not thinking it's fucking weird or hokey. It's just I don't have a drive for that. So I don't understand your side. So it's interesting to me that a person like yourself is putting value into because you want. Do you want to know the future? Do you want to know the past? Is it?
But I can see into. Well, not that I can see into. No, I can't really see into the future. I don't think I've ever been able to say that. But I can get answers to things that I need to know. You know, I can get answers through it. So that's why I do it. I mean, my daughter will fucking one night we were sitting at home and my father-in-law had just died and he died of emphysema. And we were sitting in the fucking, she was in bed in her bed and I was in mine. And next fucking minute she went, "Dad, can you hear that?" And I said, "I can hear this heavy breathing." I said, "Probably Pop, you know." And she said, "Well, he's in this room too." I said, "Well, he's in this one too." So how the fuck's that work? So, you know, it must be just like an energy. Yeah. You know, so, but that's what he was doing. He was going, not a scary one. It was just like, I knew it was him. Yeah, right. I said, "It's just letting you know." She said, "Well, I had just had a dream." So this was
after he died?
After he died, yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know. And, we've had some weird stuff happen.
Man, I had a freaky thing when my pop died, my mum's dad. So I think I was 17 maybe, 16, 17, something like that. Yeah. And I woke up early, real early. And I'm still to this day, I'm not a person that, I won't wake up early. I need to set an alarm, have the fucking shades open for me to wake up. Yeah. And I woke up at 5:45, which is, to me, a fucking pretty early morning. Yep. And I got out and my mum and my dad were both sitting on the couch. And I just walked out and I fucking knew my granddad died. He wasn't sick. Yeah. He wasn't, there was no,
that's the awareness, mate. Yeah, you already had it. So and you don't believe in it, but you just had it.
No, it's not that I don't believe in it. It's the psychic thing that I don't feel compelled to find stuff out. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. But I do believe.
They're like gut feelings. So you call gut feelings are like that. It's like going down, looking at the races, and then you go, for some reason that fucking horse just sticks right out to me. Yeah. It's just a conscious thought, mate. Yeah. That's how things come to me, but I take notice of it. Sometimes I hear a voice. You know, like I might be looking at races one day. I was sitting there one day and I wanted to take a first four, but I was always trying to get them in perfect order. I mean, it's hard enough getting one winner. Yeah, yeah. And next window I just said to myself, 7, 10, 11 and 4. Well, so I went 7, 10, 11, 4, put in $10, paid $8,000.
Fuck.
Won 80 grand. So that's how I operate on. I operate on feelings. That don't happen all the time.
And I guess too, like I'm in my life never had anyone try and fucking kill me. I've never had. I guess my senses have never been put under the same pressure that your senses have been under. Yeah. To where you probably needed that hyper alert and really be trying to pay attention to everything. Like even when you talked about, you noticed the chick that was fucking running, that she was a copper. Yep. So it's like, I guess you might have just developed senses through necessity.
Oh, no doubt. And I think that started from, being aware of my father and having to be on guard all the time. Yeah. And that's how my life always was. I was on guard. Yeah. Always and forever. So I had to fucking rely on.
So it developed the sense.
It just developed that sense within me, so...
Are you cautious? Like when we had the phone call, that when I first called you about this, you were like pretty on guard for the first couple minutes of us actually chatting, and I didn't get the feeling that you were. You can tell when someone's like, "Nah, fuck, this is a bit eggy to me." Yeah. So it seemed like
I did that, and then when I hung up, I checked you out straight away because I said to my daughter, "I'll find out the name of the place first, and your podcast." And so I went into that. Then I started looking at some of the people that you'd talk to, and I looked like that. And then I said, "Oh yeah, well, that I don't mind doing that. I know there's no money in it financially, but at the end of the day, maybe some more people might look at me book.
Yeah.
You know, and which is online. You can't buy it in the paper book anymore unless you go on eBay. You can get them on there.
Yeah,
sometimes they sell for $135 because they've been signed or.
Yeah.
You know.
So who published your book?
The ABC.
Righto. So like, because you know that you can publish a lot of shit yourselves these days.
Oh,
and like,
shit, yeah.
It's definitely getting better, eh?
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, if you haven't had great experience with, because I remember you saying that you shit canned something in you think that's why the ABC.
Oh yeah, I think that's why the ABC dumped the book, because I bagged the production of Blue Murder.
Yep.
And that's who did it, the ABC.
Maybe you should look at some of the other options of publishing shit yourself and just having a bit more control over it, you know, like as you kind of go
I wouldn't
forward.
even mind doing a DVD one day and
like a doco or something.
Yeah, like a doco, and going around, have someone film, going to the places that I've been. A little bit like has happened on the Vice channel. It's
just a little
online
bit
now.
More, yeah.
You know? And because that puts it out there how it is, mate. I tell it as the raw truth. I don't, you know, I've got nothing to worry about. I've got no people that are going to come and fucking kill me over it, because at the end of the day, I'm not nominating anyone who's done anything with me or, you know, but I'm telling the story, the truth behind bullshit that gets written by coppers, and that's why I've called my next book that I've been working on for a long time, and I lost about 300 pages on the computer one day. I've never been able to fucking get it back. So it just fucking went into fucking cyberspace somewhere. So it's there somewhere, but where the fuck it is, I've got no idea. So I had to restart it and go through it again. But it's funny, when I'm even writing it, I get to parts where things happen, and I get real fucking hyper when I start. I can even feel that I'm bashing at the keys instead of fucking, you know, because I'm remembering it. So I can always put things into I remember a bloke saying to me one day when I was in the prison system and I was writing my first book, and he said, "Fuck, mate," he said, "you fucking type that fucking fast." I said, "Well, I'm fucking..."
Getting the thoughts out.
Yeah, he said, "But how do you do that when you're writing a story about yourself?" I said, "Because I'm not telling fucking lies."
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here going, "Oh, and then what can I say? I'll do a chopper read here and say, oh yeah, then I killed so-and-so, and then I killed so-and-so, and you know what I mean? He claimed fame for that many fucking things. And I said all those fucking things come from movies, Chopper, not from fucking...
Was he in a similar era to you? Like, were you...
He was in the same era. No, he was just a police informer from fucking from Melbourne, you know?
So he wasn't...
He was nothing that he ever fucking pretended to be. He was just a good storyteller.
Yeah, fucking
you know, and he made himself out to be this fucking... You know, he was a lunatic, but he was in H Division in fucking Melbourne for his own protection.
Yeah, right.
If he was out in the yard, they would have chopped him up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know, he can chop his own ears off, but fucking someone else would have cut his heart out, you know. But, I mean, that's why when he got out, he went to Tasmania. And then, you've only got to look at the docos and blokes he had hanging around him who was his bodyguard. Like, one bloke was like a stick, and some fucking poor innocent bastard who ended up getting jail time with him. And then he allegedly shot this bikie, and then well he did shoot the bikie, but he fucking shot him in the guts or the legs or something like that, and then he got locked up in Tasmania in fucking prison there.
Did you
then
see
he
a
come
lot
back
of...
to Melbourne, but I've been sitting down in coffee shops with blokes that I know from the Melbourne underworld, and I've been down there, sitting down there having coffee with them. Next one deal walk past, and they just fucking all look at him, fucking, you fucking big goose, you know.
Yeah, right.
No, but he was in saying that, he was still a dangerous bloke in his own way.
You don't know what fucking...
You know, but I actually had a business at one stage. It was here in Newcastle. It was called King Arthur's Court, King Arthur's Theatre, and not King Arthur Theatre. What was it called? I owned the bloody thing. King's Theatre it was called, and down here in Lambton. And anyway, I had it going good until they did a story on me up here, and next minute there was a 2-page article written in the Newcastle Herald, and said this bloke is the next underworld figure and fucking done this and done that, and fucking next minute that was the end of my business. Went fucking backwards.
No shit.
So, you know, unbelievable. But I actually put Chopper Reed on there with Roger Rogerson one night, and I packed the place out, and then after it I walked out the back and I said, "Mate, you fucking talk underwater." And then I looked at his eyes and I said, "So it must be the speed that's doing it to you, eh?" And he said, "Oh, you're pretty fucking observative." I said, "Well, fucking mate, I've been around a long fucking time, mate, you know what I mean?" But I said, you know, some of them stories you told there tonight, I said, I think they come out of the Goodfellas movie, mate. He said, "Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, Abo." That's what he said to me. So, I thought he was quite he was a funny human being, I thought he was fucking hilarious. But as far as an organised crime gangster, I thought, he wouldn't have even got a fucking look in Sydney.
Wouldn't have got a
He wouldn't have got a look in Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did his own thing and he was a junkie all his life.
Yeah, right.
So those people were never involved with the Smarties.
Yeah.
So
what do you make, I guess, of people that would have those opinions to write like a negative story about you, like, because it's like
you just got to take the good with the bad, man.
Yeah, because I mean it's a fucking weird one, because it's like, all right, you've done some fucked up shit.
Yep.
You've done some crimes, like you lived a life that generally society frowns on.
Oh, of course.
But you've been a really fucking good guy to me.
Yeah.
Every correspondence we've had has been awesome.
Yeah.
I've had a fucking good chat here.
Yeah, bloody
about cool stories and shit.
Yeah.
You don't come across to me as a total fucking piece of shit asshole kind of guy.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, I don't know, it is a hard one though when it's like to detach the crimes from the person, because at the end of the day you're a person, you got a wife, you got a kids.
That's
like
right.
heard you talking to your son on the phone.
My wife doesn't like things like that, I mean, when that video just came out on the Vice channel, Violent Times, she said, did it have to come out, I said, it's got to be part. I'm trying to get a frigging documentary done here. That's what I'm trying to do. In the end, I'd really like to have a documentary or a movie made, but fucking about the truth, mate.
Yeah.
The coppers are, so everyone's too scared. They want to fucking ad-lib stuff and add all this bullshit to it. Fucking tell it the raw or the truth of it, mate. So that's why I like things like this, where we're one-on-one, we can fucking talk about things. And I'll tell it how it is. I'm not here for me ego, mate. And I never joined organised crime to be a tough guy, or to be even known as one. I just wanted to earn money. That was my main motivation all the way along, mate. I didn't want to be running around fucking being a fucking killer or even known as one, But I've had to do what I've had to do in my life to stay alive. And as I said, I've shot them, stabbed them, hit them with bats, or fucking you name it. But there've been other gangsters that live the life and know the rules. So I don't have any regrets.
So is that your takeaway in terms of how you can let stuff sit with you as a person, is that all the people that you were involved with were playing the same game and knew the same rules?
Yep. And, when they've tried to trap me, I think to myself, that was very clever.
Yeah, right.
But, not clever enough, it didn't get me.
So and like that's the thing from stories here, it doesn't sound like you take even people trying to kill you that personally.
No, I don't, mate. No, I remember saying, when they shot at me at, when they let about 16 shots go out of these guns that the police found when they tried to murder me at, while I was on works release in 1997.
Oh, when you were running through the bush.
Yeah, when I was running through the bush there in a place called Rothbury. It's where it was an old mine site years ago. And but now it's a train museum. Well, I was working there as part of my works release back into society and all that sort of shit. And that's where they tried to kill me. But I was going to say something about that.
Oh, like you don't take it personal?
Yeah, no. And straight after, I remember going back to the prison, and I heard the governor of the prison saying he's on the phone to head office in the city, and he's saying, yeah, well, I want my warden to get an accolade for this. And I said, what the fuck's he getting an accolade for? He dropped me off at fucking the work site and pissed off in the car. He would have been a mile away when fucking the shots are fired at fucking me. I'm the one who dodged the fucking bullet, you moron. You know what I mean? But when he came out and was talking to me, they sent me this bloke called Mr. Foxwell, who'd been in charge of the prison systems for years, like up in the head office and that, Good bloke, I liked him. Been an ex-governor in prisons. And he said, you don't even look like you're fucking worried at all. I said, that's the best bit of fucking excitement I've had in 6 fucking years. And that's the truth of it, mate, so. The
boy's having a crack.
Yeah.
How different, we'll wrap it up soon.
Yeah, mate, yeah. I'll have to go shortly.
Nah, it's been a good yarn. Yeah. How different would your life have been if you got to join the army? Because you're a tactical motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't know how I would have gone there. I'm sure I would have got,
Would you have had
I've
a problem
never
with
been
the
anyone
authority?
hesitating in it. Well, that's what they thought. See, that's why they thought. They said to me, when I asked them, I said, what's the reason? I mean, I went even to the local member in Parramatta in the day.
Oh, so you fully tried to get in?
Yeah, and I said, listen, why are they knocking me fucking back? And he said, well, let's have a look into it. And he said, because you've got this violence record already. That's what they're concerned about, that you won't take fucking good to thing. You've got no discipline.
Yeah, right.
And I said, well, it's only because I've never been fucking taught any. I'll be disciplined if I have to.
Yeah.
If I get fucking told, well, this is what we're doing, we're going to fucking...
I'd say it takes discipline to rob Cockatoo Island.
Fucking oath, you've got to have discipline to do the fucking things I did. And you've got to get them down right without harming anybody. I mean, we never ever, in all the times we did armed robbery, ever harmed one single fucking soul on a robbery. And I said to anyone, if you've ever got it, I'll make the decision if that person's got to be hurt. So I'll hold it against me. If I see him going for a gun they've got strapped down to their leg, right, I'm going to put one in his leg. I'm going to put one in his head or his heart, or right? But that'll be the last resort, right? You know, so I said, you leave it to me. So I was always the one looking for, so I always made them sure when they got the guards, they put them down, they fucking lifted their trouser leg, pulled out the fucking gun. Some of them, they have them hidden in their ankles. They'd still have one carrying one here, but they'd have one, and they were layers. You know, there's certain ones that are real fucking layers that get out with the guns and that, you know. Well, we used to laugh at them, you know, because we'd just trap them so easily. You know what I mean? I always just say to them, don't be a hero here, mate. We're only after your money, right? Yeah. No, fucking don't get up and try and shoot at us.
No, make more of it.
Yeah, that's right. So fucking, we always got away with it, you know. So, you know, I didn't harm anyone. I didn't fucking put the fucking, you know, I'm sure I put the wind up on for the fucking moment. You know what I mean? And that was all fucking part of it. I had to do that. But, you know, in everything I've ever done, I've never had to harm them that way. But the only time when I had to use violence was when, you know, gang war erupted, or someone was trying to hurt me or hurt some of the gang, or, you know, cut off some of our supply, or fucking start working in our area, or whatever that was, you know. So that's when I'd come out of me fucking shell and be this other person, you know, which I don't like to go there too often, but if I got to, I will. But so I've tried to use me smarts as best as I can. And and as I say, the only thing that I ever regret about was stabbing that police prosecutor, you know, because I should have just knocked him down in the gutter and, you know, I still would have got it being fucking roused on over it. But at the end of the day, they all knew he was a big mouth. Yeah. And, you know, I would have got back in the saddle and been all right. So I didn't worry me. And as it turned out, I got back in the saddle any fucking way, and I played until I was fucking ready to fucking pull the plug, you know, which was 8 years ago. So for 8 years, I've been fucking just training blokes, fighting. You know, I'd go down, train some young kids in high schools and teach them to box. And I even fought for the Australian title in 2015, November 2015, as a cruiserweight, and against a 42-year-old. But unfortunately, I snapped my soleus muscle, snapped that hard, and tore off my bone and fractured my leg. So that was the end of the fight. So as much as I wanted to get back and get revenge, and just prior to it, the day before it, the Saturday Telegraph carried a story about it, and they said that, you know, I was used to fucking running in and using baseball bats to clear rooms and fucking, you know, this bloke that I thought was fucking terrified. I could see it in his eyes when he came out in the corner, you know. And I trapped him in my corner and was going to unload on him, and then fucking bang, snap. I wondered, what the fuck, why am I going backwards here? Yeah, right. Because your soleus muscle is your standing muscle. It's what helps you stand up. Yeah. So, so that was unfortunate. Never won that, but would have been... I've been offered last year to fight up in Caloundra in Queensland, and then in the end of the day, they couldn't find me an opponent, so I thought, no, I'm hanging them up now. But every now and then I still work on the headgear and get in and I'll spar the young blokes I'm fighting, you know.
Fuck yeah.
It just keeps you sharp and keeps you on your toes.
That's it. Well, mate, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, mate,
thanks
good
a lot,
as gold. Not a problem.
Good chat. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, mate.
Went quicker than you thought, or?
Yeah, bloody oath. What's the time now? Very went long over what I thought.
No, well, mate, yeah, we fucking could have kept going too.
Yeah, bloody oath. No worries.
Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, mate. Good as gold.
And everyone go buy Abo's book, A Treacherous Life. Yeah. It's on. I got it through the Apple bookstore. That's pretty sure.
Yeah, Lulu, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Hulu does it.
Hulu.
And then you got. It's not an audio book. let's fucking get the audio book happening.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
not a bad idea.
Come to Queensland, use the mic, set you up, read the book, because the fucking audio books are the way to go.
Yeah, well, that might be the go-to.
Get it out there, fucking publish it yourself, and so
that's a good thought.
we got you, mate.
Good as gold, mate.
No dramas.
Catch you, mate.